Hello, dear viewers. Support me by subscribing to my channel and share my video if you like it. And also, make sure you comment your thoughts. Now let's start the video. Fusion had always been an option, but it hadn't been used much. If they wanted to help Goten today, Goku and Vegeta could only use fusion and become a combined warrior. As soon as he heard the word fusion, Vegeta's expression changed immediately. The fusion technique of the Metamorans that he had seen in the other world came to mind, and he instantly got goosebumps. Although the Metamorans' fusion technique was really strong, the fusion stance was too embarrassing, and fusing with Goku was something he would never accept. Stop talking nonsense here, Kakarot. Even if I die here today, it is absolutely impossible to fuse with you, so I advise you to give up this stupid idea as soon as possible. Vegeta immediately yelled at Goku. First of all, he couldn't do such a shameful stance at all. Secondly, even if he really wanted to fuse with someone else, it would definitely not be Goku. Vegeta, we can be regarded as resurrected from the dead. Even if we die again, there is no problem. But do you really want to watch Bulma and Trunks die? Goku looked at Vegeta and said seriously, with their current Super Saiyan Blue strength, they couldn't help Goten at all. The only way they could help now was to use the fusion technique of the Metamorans and merge into a super warrior. Then they would definitely be able to beat Toppo. Even if they were eliminated afterward, it would be a favor for Goten. Don't be naive, Kakarot. No matter what you say, I will never agree. It's absolutely impossible for me to do that kind of humiliating action. Vegeta sternly yelled at Goku, his tone leaving no room for doubt. Vegeta, do you really want to see our 7th universe destroyed? Don't you care about losing to these guys? Little Trunks has already died once, and future Trunks was killed once in front of you. Do you really have the heart to watch Bulma be callously erased as well? You saw the fate of the 9th and 10th universes just now, Goku continued seriously. He really wanted to help his son, Goten. Since Goten was born, Goku hadn't been there for him when he needed him the most. He didn't even offer any help. This time should be the only chance to help him, and Goku didn't want to miss this opportunity. Otherwise, if he died again, he wouldn't be able to forgive himself. Seeing Goku's serious expression, Vegeta's firm attitude began to waver. Indeed, he had watched his 2 sons die once before. Did he want to watch them die in front of him again this time? But Vegeta clenched his fists tightly, feeling extremely conflicted. Was this the only way? Did he really have to use the most humiliating method to win this game? But as Goku said, they seemed to have no other options. With their current Super Saiyan Blue strength, they couldn't help at all. Moreover, in their current physical state, any participant could easily eliminate them. As a proud prince of the Saiyan race, being eliminated like this was something Vegeta was unwilling to accept. Vegeta, hurry up and decide. I can feel the 6th universe guys taking us out in a flash, Goku urged from the side. Maybe those guys in the back were no threat. After all, a skinny camel is still bigger than a horse. Even if their physical fitness had been seriously affected, it shouldn't be a big problem to handle them. But Hit from the 6th universe standing at the front was incredibly powerful. They could clearly feel this. Before, when Whis and Beerus had mentioned Hit, they had clearly told them to be careful in this tournament of power. Stop talking nonsense, Kakarot. If you say another word, I won't fuse with you, Vegeta said through gritted teeth. Making this decision was very uncomfortable for him. But now, apart from fusion, they had no other way. Are you saying yes, Vegeta? Great, let's do fusion now, Goku said, instantly surprised. It seemed that Vegeta had agreed to perform fusion with him. To be honest, Goku was looking forward to seeing the strength they would reach after fusion. Based on what he had seen of the Metamorans in the other world, the strength would definitely not be too weak. At that moment, on the other side of the arena, it had already brought Kaba and the 2 Namekians over step by step. Mr. Hit, do we really need to eliminate these 2 participants from the 7th universe first? Kaba asked, looking at Goku and Vegeta, who were already bruised and exhausted. It seems they don't have much physical strength left. Wouldn't this be dishonorable? Champa-sama has ordered us to get rid of the 7th universe first, Hit replied. These 2 are strong. If they recover their peak strength, it will be very difficult for us to deal with them. Don't have naive illusions in a place like this. Only by defeating everyone can we survive, and I don't care about the method. Although it wasn't his style to eliminate injured opponents, it was necessary for the 6th universe's survival. Hit, who had lived for 1,000 years, did not want to die so helplessly. Hit is right, now is not the time for hesitation, the Namekian Polina added. Keeping everyone alive was the most important thing. All right, Kaba nodded quickly. Their purpose in participating in this competition was to prevent their entire universe from being wiped out. Sometimes, it is justifiable to go against one's will to fight for survival. We must stop them as soon as possible. Those two seem ready to fuse together, Samano, another Namekian, pointed out. They didn't know how powerful Goku and Vegeta would become after fusing, but it would definitely be more difficult to deal with them. Therefore, they needed to stop the fusion. We cannot allow that, Hit said coldly before his body flashed forward. Although he didn't use his time skip skill, his speed was still astonishingly fast, far beyond what the injured Goku and Vegeta could dodge. Hit was confident his blow would be enough to deal with them. Whizzing. Just as Hit was 10 meters away from Goku and Vegeta, a few cracking sounds suddenly echoed. Immediately, Krillin and Piccolo appeared in front of them. Krillin frowned as he faced Hit, then punched out with all his might. What? Hit's expression changed drastically. Krillin's lightning speed and terrifying power shocked him. The last time they met, Krillin wasn't this strong. Hit could have killed him with one finger. But now, after so many days, Krillin had undergone earth-shaking changes. Not only had his appearance changed, but his strength had also greatly improved. Shocked, Hit instantly used his time skip skill. His intuition told him that if Krillin's punch landed on his chest, he might lose his ability to fight or even suffer more serious injuries. He didn't know why Krillin had become so strong. Boom, click. Hit managed to use his time skip skill in time, but Krillin's punch still hit his left arm heavily. The sound of crashing and bones cracking rang out almost simultaneously. Hit was sent flying by Krillin's powerful force, smashing rocks and falling heavily to the ground. His arm was completely fractured and deformed, with purple blood oozing from his mouth. Krillin's strength at this time completely surpassed that of Super Saiyan Blue Goku and the others. It was just slightly weaker than Trunks of Super Saiyan 4. The power of Krillin's punch was unimaginable, especially since it hit when Hit was unprepared. Krillin, Goku, and the others were instantly dumbfounded. It was so fast that they barely saw what happened, but Krillin's punch had sent Hit flying and broke his arm. This power had clearly surpassed Goku and Vegeta at their peak. Are you kidding me? How did Krillin become so powerful? Vegeta was in shock. Since his resurrection, he hadn't seen Krillin's power. Although Krillin's appearance had changed greatly, Vegeta never took him seriously, because Krillin was just an ordinary human. The bloodline of ordinary Earthlings limited their strength growth, but now Krillin's strength had completely surpassed them. Wow! Haha, you are amazing, Krillin, Goku said, pleasantly surprised. The strength and speed just now were incredible. Even Piccolo and young Trunks were shocked. Krillin, whom they never paid attention to, had become so powerful. Young Trunks was envious and admired him. Hey, hurry up and do the fusion, you two, Krillin said, scratching his bald head in embarrassment. Hit is very strong. I was lucky to hit him when he was unprepared. If he fights seriously later, I might not be his opponent. Good, Goku nodded quickly. In the 7th Universe's auditorium, Beerus was incomparably shocked and delighted. Is this really Krillin? His power is so strong that he punched Hit. This is amazing. We smiled and added, Krillin has indeed become very powerful. It seems our 7th Universe participants have really shocked us. In contrast, Champa's expression was extremely ugly. He had planned to eliminate Goku and Vegeta while they were weak, but Krillin's unexpected strength had thrown a wrench in his plans. With Hit injured, the 6th Universe was in danger. Did you shoot yourself in the foot this time? Beerus taunted Champa coldly. Mr. Hit, Kaba, and Polina reacted quickly, looking at Hit and the others. Damn it. Are the contestants of the 7th Universe so powerful? Samuel said seriously. Hit was directly hit with one punch. Even if the three of us fight together, it's impossible to beat Krillin. Polina, go help Mr. Hit. Sanel and I will contain them, Kaba instructed, knowing they couldn't hold out for long. He hoped Hit could recover quickly and rejoin the battle. Good, Polina nodded. The Namekian warriors had the ability to heal. Since they couldn't help in the battle now, the best they could do was help Hit recover because his presence in the ring was crucial for the 6th Universe's survival. With a roar, Kaba transformed into Super Saiyan 2, a form he had mastered after more than a month of training under Vitos. At this time, Silver White Kesari Aura instantly surrounded Samonel's body. His power was much stronger than Piccolo's, as he was a super warrior assimilated by countless Namekians. "Let's go," Samonel, Kaba said after transforming into Super Saiyan 2. The two rushed towards Krillin instantly, but their strength was too weak. Krillin didn't take them seriously at all. As soon as their bodies moved, Krillin shot out like lightning. His fists hit Kaba and Samonel heavily in their chests. Bang, bang, puff. Blood spewed from their mouths as their bodies flew uncontrollably out of the arena. They were eliminated immediately without withstanding a single attack. That's amazing! This guy Krillin has become too strong. Piccolo's face turned green. Krillin's previous strength was incomparable to his own, but now he seemed stronger than Goku and the others. And how much green can he get? At the same time Krillin defeated Kaba and Samonel, Polina had helped Hit recover from his injury. Hit's broken arm was fully healed. Damn, forgot about the healing abilities of the Namekians. Looks like it's gonna be a fierce battle, Krillin said, giving a helpless wry smile as he looked at Hit, who had fully recovered and stared at him indifferently. Hit's eyes were extremely cold. He didn't expect Krillin, whom he had previously ignored, to cause him such harm. For 1,000 years, only Goten had caused him this kind of pain. Now this inconspicuous bald head had made him feel it again. Absolutely unforgivable. Goku, Vegeta, hurry up and perform fusion. This guy is getting serious, and I probably won't be able to stop him for long. Krillin reminded Goku and Vegeta behind him. If it was only based on strength, Krillin wasn't afraid of Hit and was over 90% sure he could defeat him. However, the time skip skill Hit had mastered allowed him to jump through time and attack, making it quite troublesome. Although Goten had told Krillin about Hit's ability, he had no way to counter it now. To counter him, he needed more terrifying speed, which he didn't have. Got it, Krillin? We'll be quick, Goku replied. He and Vegeta moved to a relatively secluded place to practice their fusion stance. This was their first fusion, and the Tournament of Power lasted only 48 minutes. Their fusion stance had to be perfect, or they'd have to wait half an hour before trying again, which could be too late. I'll try my best. Krillin smiled wryly and nodded, hoping he could last until Goku and Vegeta completed their fusion. You can't stop me. The reason I was injured before was that I was careless, but now I will use my real strength to eliminate you quickly, Hit said to Krillin indifferently. Though Krillin was stronger than before, Hit believed he could solve Krillin quickly with his absolute strength. I know you have that kind of strength, but don't think I'm weak, Krillin replied seriously. Hit didn't continue talking. He suddenly flashed, disappearing and reappearing behind Krillin, aiming a punch at the back of his neck. He didn't use his full strength as it could kill Krillin instantly and disqualify the Sixth Universe from the competition, leading to their annihilation. An extremely dangerous feeling surged in Krillin's heart. His body leaped forward subconsciously, dodging Hit's attack. At the same time, his hands closed instantly, and terrifying blue energy condensed in an instant. Kamehameha! Krillin shouted as he turned around, releasing a Kamehameha wave. But Hit's body disappeared like a ghost, causing Krillin's attack to miss. Duh! Before Krillin could react, Hit appeared in front of him again, delivering another sharp attack to his chest. Hit had used his time skip skill to extend the skip duration to 1 second. His limit. This was his ace card, originally intended for Goten. However, if he couldn't get rid of Krillin, he wouldn't even have the qualifications to fight Goten. He needed to deal with Krillin first, then the other participants from the 7th universe. Only then could he face Goten as his final challenge. What? Krillin's expression changed. This time he had no chance to dodge. Boom! Hit's fist hit Krillin's chest heavily. As a killer, Hit knew exactly how to make a fighter lose their fighting power instantly. As Krillin's body flew back, Hit used the time skip skill again. Bang, bang. Hit delivered a flurry of precise strikes to every vital part of Krillin's body. His power control was perfect. Though he couldn't kill Krillin, he could make him lose his fighting power quickly. Thousands of precise strikes caused blood to overflow from Krillin's mouth. Despite his infinite energy and stronger than average body, enduring thousands of blows caused serious problems. Boom. Hit punched Krillin's chest again, causing it to collapse. Blood spurted from Krillin's mouth as he nearly lost the ability to fight. Hateful Piccolo and Young Trunks rushed forward to stop Hit but they were no match for him. They were eliminated instantly. Sorry, Goku, I can only go so far, Krillin thought, glancing at Goku and Vegeta. This guy's time-skip skills are indeed exaggerated. He smiled helplessly. Even at full strength and speed, it was impossible to defeat Hit's time-skip skills. This was as far as he could go. Now, it was up to Goku and Goten. Hit bypassed Krillin and walked towards Goku and Vegeta. Fusion. Ha! Goku and Vegeta's voices echoed. A dazzling silver-white beam of light shot into the sky, illuminating the entire Null Realm. Everyone's gaze turned towards the source of the light. Oh, what a beautiful light. Zeno exclaimed, "What happened, Daishinkan?" It seems Goku and Vegeta from the 7th universe performed fusion, the Grand Priest replied. It's amazing. I can feel a powerful ki. It's incredible that mortals have such powerful abilities. The Grand Priest was surprised. He had already discovered that Jiren from the 11th universe was a fused warrior using Potara earrings, but he didn't expect Goku and Vegeta to perform fusion without the Potara earrings, and their post-fusion power was ridiculously strong. The fight was getting more and more exciting. Meanwhile, Beerus, who had been grim about Krillin's defeat, felt the sudden powerful aura. A look of excitement appeared on his face. Instantly. Those two, Goku and Vegeta, actually completed the fusion, Beerus said, excitedly, and this powerful force is unbelievable. Piccolo, who had already been eliminated, was also extremely excited. He stared curiously at the place where the silver beam of light appeared, eagerly anticipating the combined form of Goku and Vegeta. It's really amazing, Whis commented. But compared to Jiren and Goten, it's still lacking. Though the combined power of Goku and Vegeta surpassed Universe 11's candidate Hakaishin, Toppo, it still fell short of Goten and Jiren. The powerful ki made all the Hakashin take notice. Amidst their surprised gazes, the silver-white beam of light began to dissipate, revealing a new figure. Surrounded by a blue gaseous aura, flames with tiny starlights mixed in, the figure was Gogeta in Super Saiyan blue form, wearing the Metamoran's dress style. His bangs danced in front of his eyebrows, and his eyes were extremely sharp. His body was strong and well-proportioned. Hit from the 6th universe, you beat Krillin like this, and I will never let you go. Gogeta's voice, a combination of Vegeta and Goku's voices, rang out. Too strong. Is this powerful force the combination of Goku and Vegeta? Krillin looked on, surprised and happy. He had survived until the two completed their fusion, fulfilling his mission. Are you Goku or Vegeta? Hit asked, sensing the powerful force in Gogeta's body. He already knew their names from before. I am neither Goku nor Vegeta. I am the one who is about to defeat you, Gogeta replied lightly. Defeat me? Don't be wishful. I admit your strength has improved a lot, but it's not enough to defeat me, Hit said confidently. It seems you're extremely confident in your previous ability. Let's see if your strength matches your confidence. Otherwise, this will be boring. Gogeta's tone was filled with underestimation, his confidence boosted to the extreme. Then let's see. Hit's voice fell as his body disappeared like a ghost. His aura was completely concealed, making him undetectable. In the next second, he appeared behind Gogeta and launched his attack. Gogeta, without even looking back, punched out with a backhand, hitting Hit's face heavily. Boom! Puff! Hit's body was sent flying, and blood spurted out instantly from his nose. What? How is this possible? Can he actually see, though, my time-skip skill clearly? Hit held his nose, extremely shocked. He had used his time-skip skill to the level of 1 second, but was easily seen through by Gogeta. Hey, is this the trick you used to defeat Krillin? A bit too weak? Gogeta's tone was flat, but full of contempt. You! Don't get carried away, Hit roared, performing the time-skip skill again. This time, countless Hit figures appeared around Gogeta, each with an identical ki. You arrogant bastard, I will make you kneel. All the Hit figures attacked Gogeta, simultaneously. A boring trick! Are you trying to use this useless ability to defeat me? Gogeta was disdainful. He suddenly kicked out hard, hitting Hit firmly. As Hit's body flew out, all the after images disappeared. Gogeta was speechless. This trick was really weak. It was time to eliminate Hit quickly and deal with Toppo next. Wow, that combined warrior from the 7th universe is amazing. Zeno exclaimed, looking at Gogeta with excitement. This fight was truly thrilling, and every participant was performing remarkably well. The fusion skill was especially impressive, transforming the seriously injured Goku and Vegeta into a formidable warrior in the blink of an eye. That's right, Xeno-sama, the Grand Priest agreed with a smile. The contestants of the 7th universe are truly surprising. Despite not paying much attention to them over the years, it turns out there are many strong mortals among them. This is a very good sign. The Grand Priest noted that both Goten and the current fused fighters were exceptionally powerful, even by the standards of the universes with high mortal rankings. It seemed that the Tournament of Power would result in some changes in the universe rankings. Great, Goku and Vegeta! Come on, kill that hit from the 6th universe for me, Beerus shouted excitedly. The power of the combined Gogeta had him thrilled. Earlier worries seemed completely unfounded now. With fusion, Goku and Vegeta's power was second only to Goten and Jiren. Neither hit the strongest assassin of the 6th universe, nor Hakashin Toppo of the 11th universe could match them. Come on, Goku, Piccolo cheered. Go, Dad! Young Trunks joined in, both of them excited. Even in the other world, they had never witnessed the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. Now that they finally saw it, they were amazed by its power. The damn Beerus, using such a shameless tactic, detestable. Champa cursed loudly, his face ugly as he realized. Its attacks had no effect on Gogeta. Glancing at the elated Beerus, he felt even more frustrated. Champa-sama, what you say is a bit too unfair. Vados reminded him. Isn't our 6th universe planning to fuse Caulifla and Cully? In this way, it's actually very fair. Champa cursed again, feeling like an ant on a hot pan. Once Hit was eliminated, their chances of winning were slim. Even if Caulifla and Kale fused, they couldn't match the fused fighter from the 7th universe. Gogeta's strength far surpassed Caulifla's, and this gap wouldn't change much after fusion. At that moment, Hit stabilized his body and wiped the bruises from his face. Feeling dizzy, Gogeta's punch had caused significant damage. Damn, this guy's too strong, Hit muttered with a serious face. Under Vados' training, he had mastered another skill that could deal with much stronger opponents, but it consumed a lot of physical energy. Originally, he planned to use it against Goten, but now he had no choice but to use it against Gogeta. Hey! Use whatever ability you have. Don't waste my time, Gogeta said lightly, sensing that Hit had some strange moves. He wanted to test them, defeat Hit, and then deal with Hakashin Toppo. Don't get too carried away, Hit glowered, aiming both hands directly at Gogeta. Time freeze, time prison. In an instant, the space around Gogeta changed completely. He seemed locked in a purple space, surrounded by what looked like purple mirrors. His body suddenly felt extremely heavy, making it difficult to move. What kind of trick is this? My body feels out of control. Gogeta's expression changed slightly. He didn't expect Hit to have such an ability, as if time had stood still. His body was completely immobile. Hit, sweating profusely, had used his final trump card, Time Prison. This ability could freeze the time around his opponent, almost putting them in a relatively static state. Although it could control much stronger opponents, it consumed a lot of his energy. Now he had to eliminate Gogeta instantly, or he would be the one to be eliminated. Next, I will get rid of you in an instant. Hit gritted his teeth and freed up a hand, instantly condensing an energy ball in his palm. He just needed to hit Gogeta with this condensed ball of energy to ensure his victory. Whoa, that's great. Hit, hurry up and get rid of those detestable guys from the 7th universe. Champa shouted happily, excited to see Hit trap Gogeta. He had underestimated Hit's abilities, but now he felt reassured. On the other hand, Beerus' complexion turned ugly. He had thought Gogeta would quickly defeat Hit, but now the situation seemed dire. Being trapped in time prison was very dangerous. Gogeta, however, didn't panic. His face remained calm. Despite being restrained, he took a step forward, causing the purple halo around him to tremble. What? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Hit's face changed suddenly as Gogeta moved under the shackles of time prison. He underestimated Gogeta's strength, realizing that Gogeta's resistance was intensifying. Gogeta gritted his teeth and took another step forward. Your elaborate tricks are useless in the face of real power, he said calmly, approaching Hit step by step. D! No, impossible! Hit was completely dumbfounded. He knew that if his trump card couldn't deal with Gogeta, he would be eliminated soon. Click. In the next second, a crisp sound echoed as the time prison around Gogeta collapsed instantly. The purple halo disappeared, and Hit was pushed back several thousand feet, sweating profusely. "You're done," Gogeta said coldly, appearing in front of Hit like a ghost. A merciless punch hit Hit's lower abdomen. Wah! Hit spat out a mouthful of blood as his body was sent flying out of the ring. Champa, who had been excited, suddenly turned pale. It's over, he murmured in a daze, realizing that their sixth universe was hopeless this time. Even if Hit defeated Gogeta, he would be no match for Goten and Jiren in the end. After eliminating Hit, Gogeta didn't rush to fight Toppo. Trunks and Gohan were handling him for now. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Gogeta easily eliminated everyone else in the 11th universe. The 11th universe was a difficult opponent, but the rule of victory was that the universe with the most participants remaining in the ring at the end of the tournament would win. By eliminating other participants, the 7th universe could ensure their victory even if Jiren defeated Goten. As long as 2 participants from the 7th universe remained, they would win. At this time, the battle between the two sides was very fierce. Toppo, who had abandoned justice to become a Hakushin, was stronger than Trunks. As for Gohan, he was just at the level of Super Saiyan God, and couldn't help much at all. Eventually, he was completely suppressed by Toppo. Toppo's destructive power was incredibly difficult to deal with. All the energy attacks from Gohan and Trunks were useless against him. As soon as they touched Toppo's body, they would disappear. This situation drained a lot of their physical energy without causing any damage to Toppo.
I have to say, you guys are really tough. But now you should return to the audience stands, Toppo said to Trunks, instantly condensing a huge destructive energy blast and aiming it at him.
Seeing this, Trunks' face became serious. He feared Toppo's destructive energy the most. Without it, the outcome of their battle would be uncertain. Bring it on. It's not that easy to get rid of me. Trunks clenched his teeth and began to gather energy in his hands. Although he knew it couldn't compete with destructive energy, he had no choice. If he took it with his body, he would definitely be eliminated. At the moment when Trunks condensed energy, a hand was placed on his shoulder. "Well done, Trunks. You did great. Leave it to me next," said the combined voice of Goku and Vegeta. Trunks turned quickly to look, and his face lit up with excitement. "Dad, Goku, you guys fused. That's great," he exclaimed in surprise, and obediently retreated. He could feel the immense power of Vegeta and Goku after their fusion, knowing they had become incredibly powerful. The corner of Gogeta's mouth twitched. His body flashed as blue energy gathered on his feet, and he kicked heavily at the huge destructive energy. The moment the blue divine energy collided, the destructive energy was kicked out by Gogeta and blasted directly at Toppo.
What? How did he do that?
Toppo panicked. Gogeta touched his destructive ability, but wasn't destroyed. Instead, he rebounded the destructive energy, which shocked Toppo greatly. Hakai, he immediately condensed destructive energy again. The moment the two destructive energies collided, they turned into purple light spots and disappeared without a trace. Just as the two destructive energies canceled each other out, Gogeta's body appeared in front of Toppo. "You a waste who can't even hold on to your own justice and pride. I'll tell you right now, even if you become the so-called Hakushin, you are still weak and pitiful. It's impossible for someone who can't stick to their own justice and pride to defeat me." Gogeta's voice, controlled by Vegeta at the moment, was filled with haughtiness. This was what Vegeta most wanted to say to Toppo. "Don't lecture me here, you villain." "Hawkeye!" Toppo roared, quickly condensing destructive energy. But before he could raise his palm, Gogeta's fist landed heavily on his face. Boom! The heavy punch distorted half of Toppo's face, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body hit the ground heavily, bouncing back 5 or 6 times, and a long ravine was drawn on the ground. "How can this be? I am Hakushin Toppo. How could I lose to you?" Feeling the burning pain on his face, Toppo flew into a rage. After abandoning the justice he had insisted on for so long, and assuming the form of Hakushin, he was kicked away by Gogeta. It was completely unacceptable to him. Whoosh! Gogeta's body appeared again. Without hesitation, he punched Toppo hard in the chest. Rumble! The entire ring was in turmoil, and the ground began to collapse rapidly. With Toppo at the center, the wave-like circle spread in all directions. Toppo's chest also collapsed a bit. Damn it, Toppo roared, just about to condense energy and destroy again. Gogeta directly grabbed his palm with one hand, which was about to condense energy, and covered his mouth with the other hand, making him unable to say anything. Is this the so-called Hakakeishin? It's really rubbish. It's so weak. After the voice of disdain fell, Gogeta's palm gathered energy again. Rumble. The ground trembled violently again. The entire arena split into two under the powerful explosion wave. Toppo's face changed, and his keys wilted instantly. The mark of Hakashin on his chest disappeared, and he fell into a trance, clearly lacking the will to fight. Despite sacrificing his own justice to achieve a breakthrough and temporarily becoming a Hakashin, Toppo was still far from being a real Hakashin. Facing Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta was an impossible dream in this form. Gogeta grabbed Toppo and casually threw him out of the ring like a toy. Damn it! How could this happen? Toppo became a Hakashin. How could he lose to those two bastards from the 7th universe? Beaumont's face turned ugly as he saw Toppo thrown out of the ring. In their 11th universe, besides Jiren, Toppo's Hakashin form was their final trump card. To see Toppo defeated so easily was a slap in the face for their universe. Yo, Beaumont, why is your universe's Hakashin candidate so weak? Beerus taunted without any scruples. Mortal beings as Hakashin candidates make your universe's strength seem ridiculously weak. It's really embarrassing to be beaten so badly after becoming Hakashin. Beaumont, gritting his teeth, shot back. Stop getting carried away, Beerus. Although Toppo was defeated, Jiren is unbeatable. The final result won't change. Your 7th universe will soon disappear. Yeah? Then let's wait and see. Beerus responded confidently, having absolute faith in Goten. But in the ring, the situation wasn't looking good for Universe 7. They had only lost Piccolo and young Trunks so far, but Goten was at a clear disadvantage against Jiren. If Goten lost, Universe 7 would have no chance, as Jiren was incredibly strong. Boom! Jiren's Iron Fist struck, Goten's face hard, blasting him away, and continuously destroying the entire arena. Huge boulders, once part of the complete arena, now floated in the null realm under the violent shockwave. After a long fight, Goten's ki dropped. Despite having Majin Buu's cells and an immortal body, his physical state showed small problems after such intense fighting. Jiren's attacks were just too strong. Whis? After punching Goten away, Jiren quickly approached him. You'd better give up. You can never defeat me, Jiren said confidently. Even after fighting for so long, he hadn't shown his true strength. Goten was undeniably strong to persist, and his physical endurance was amazing. Despite being hit countless times, he wasn't injured and seemed to grow stronger each time. The fight isn't over yet. Isn't it too soon to be so conceited? Goten smiled faintly, feeling a steady stream of power growing inside him. Each recovery from injury only made him stronger. Stubborn, huh? In that case, I'll get rid of you completely. Jiren's tone remained indifferent. As soon as he finished speaking, his fists clenched tightly. Flame-like ki aura instantly surrounded his body, and an intensely scorching air wave spread across the entire arena. Most of the contents chose to leave the ring voluntarily, unable to bear the pressure and heat. As a result, the number of participants in the arena dwindled. Wow, it's amazing, Zeno said excitedly. Jiren from the 11th universe has become even stronger. I can feel his aura all the way from here. I don't know if Goten can resist it. Zeno had thought Jiren had unleashed all his power, but now it was clear that he hadn't. The power Jiren erupted with now was much stronger than before. It's truly incredible. Grand Priest nodded in agreement. Zeno-sama, if there are no accidents, Goten from the 7th universe should be eliminated soon. Although his growth rate is indeed impressive, Jiren obviously doesn't intend to give him a chance to continue growing. From the beginning of the battle, Grand Priest had believed Jiren would win. The gap in strength between Jiren and Goten was too large, and unless Goten had a significant breakthrough, it was impossible for him to catch up. I'm really looking forward to it. Zeno continued, expressing his excitement. For him, it didn't matter who won, as long as the fight was interesting. Before the fight, he had discussed the end results of the Tournament of Power with Grand Priest. If the winning universe used the Super Shenron's wish to revive the other universes that were erased, Zeno would let those 8 universes continue to exist, but if the wish was selfish and didn't revive the other universes, those 8 universes would be permanently erased. Managing 12 universes had been too troublesome for him, and universes with low mortal levels didn't need to exist. Yes, I'm curious to see if Goten can make a breakthrough at the last moment, Grand Priest said. Although he had been more optimistic about Jiren, the outcome of the fight was still undecided. In the ring, Jiren's fully unleashed strength was terrifying, even surprising Goten. After the fusion, Jiren was absurdly strong. Even as a legendary Super Saiyan 2, Goten couldn't match him. There was only one way to defeat Jiren now. Goten had to break through to Super Saiyan 4. But Goten worried whether he could control his sanity after becoming a great ape. If he couldn't, the entire arena could be destroyed. And if other universe participants were killed, the 7th universe would be wiped out on the spot. That was not the outcome he wanted. As Goten pondered, Jiren appeared in front of him. His speed and strength significantly improved. Jiren began his relentless attack. Bang, bang, bang. Jiren's fists rained down on Goten's body like dense raindrops. Bang, bang. Soon, countless fist marks appeared on Goten, and his body began to deform rapidly. However, these attacks did little damage to Goten, who had Majin Buu cells and immortality. Killing him was impossible. Of course, Jiren didn't need to kill him. He just needed to throw him out of the ring to win the battle. Boom. Another punch to Goten's face sent his body falling like a meteorite. Boom, boom. One boulder after another shattered as Goten's body crashed through them, finally landing on the bottom boulder. Now all it would take was one final attack from Jiren to end it for good. The audience from the 7th universe, including all the participants in the ring, wore ugly expressions. The fused fighter from the 11th universe was so powerful that even Goten was easily defeated. Was their 7th universe really going to be erased today? Goten, this time it's over. You were a very admirable contestant. If there's another chance in the future, I hope to fight you again under fair conditions, Jiren said seriously. He had won the battle, but needed to revive his master. If there was a chance in the future, he wanted a fair fight with Goten. Tienen! What another chance? He gonna be erased if he dies? He began to condense a crimson energy blast, enough to eliminate Goten completely. With nowhere else to stand, once the platform under Goten's feet was destroyed, he would be out. Goten stood up, determination in his eyes. It seemed impossible to defeat Jiren without transforming into Super Saiyan 4. This was the only chance for the 7th universe, and for all universes. Goten's palm immediately condensed a cloud of silver-white energy, which he threw into the air. Although I don't know what you're planning, I won't give you the chance. Jiren said, uneasy about Goten's strange movements. He blasted energy towards Goten. Whoosh! Suddenly, a ki blast intercepted Jiren's attack. Rumble! A violent explosion ensued as the two energies collided. What? Jiren's face changed, not expecting interference at the last moment. He turned and saw Gogeta. Hey, big-eyed monster. Let me be your opponent next. Gogeta waved to Jiren, a confident smile on his face. Gogeta knew he couldn't defeat Jiren with all his strength, but he had no choice. He needed to buy Goten some time. Hey, you overestimate yourself, Jiren snorted coldly, clearly dismissing Gogeta. He knew the opponent was also a fused fighter, but it was a fusion using a technique, not Batora earrings. More importantly, the gods had mentioned that with Kaioshin's Batora earrings, fusion with the same person would expand power infinitely. Even if two different people fused, the fighting power wouldn't be as strong as merging the same person. Moreover, Goku and Vegeta's strength before the fusion was far behind his own, and merging didn't close the gap significantly. Then let's get rid of you first, Jiren said, rushing directly at Gogeta and throwing a punch. Seeing Jiren's speed and strength, Gogeta didn't think about counterattacking, but immediately raised his arms to block. Boom! The power of the punch sent Gogeta's body flying. Boom! Boom! As Gogeta's body was blasted away, boulders exploded one after another. Despite the pain in his arms, Gogeta resisted and kept blasting energy balls at Jiren. However, Jiren ignored the energy balls and rushed towards Gogeta in a destructive posture. Rumble! The energy balls exploded continuously, but Jiren reached Gogeta in moments and threw another punch. Gogeta quickly raised his arms to defend. Boom! This punch was stronger than before. The moment it hit, a silver light beam appeared on Gogeta's body, and Goku and Vegeta quickly separated. The powerful force knocked them out of the ring. Sorry, Goten. This guy is simply a monster. We can't stop him at all. Next, it's up to you, Goku thought, looking helplessly in Goten's direction as he and Vegeta exited the ring. Despite the brief confrontation, they had bought Goten some time. Goten looked at the silver-white light cluster in the sky, and a scarlet light suddenly shot out from his eyes. Bada bump. His chest began to heave violently, and the heartbeat sounded like a drum, vibrating throughout the Null Realm. Everyone turned to where the heartbeat was coming from. Thump, 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 thump. The heartbeat grew faster and louder, and Goten's expression began to shift. What? That guy... does he have a more powerful form? Jiren wondered, clearly surprised. Seeing Goten's fierce expression, Jiren's face changed slightly. It seemed he had to eliminate Goten completely. Zeno and Grand Priest watched eagerly. I don't know what form Goten will evolve into. What's going on with Goten? He looks like he can't control his sanity. Is he trying to transform into a higher form? Beerus asked, observing the situation in the ring. The clear heartbeat echoed in the Null Realm, and it felt like Goten was about to turn into a beast, his sanity eroding bit by bit. If he lost his sanity no matter how powerful he was, this fight would become very dangerous. Even if he could persist until the end, someone might get killed, and the 7th universe would face the crisis of being wiped out. I don't know. Beerus-sama, I don't know if Goten has a higher form of transformation, but judging by the current situation, it doesn't look good. Whis said seriously. Goten's strength had improved too quickly, and Whis had no idea how strong he really was. If Goten broke through again, he might reach the level of an angel. Hey, do you two know what's going on with Goten? Beerus asked Vegeta and Goku, hoping they, the Saiyans, might understand Goten's plans. I don't know either. Beerus-sama, Goku replied. The scene felt familiar to him, but he couldn't remember why. Could it be? Vegeta's expression changed suddenly, as if he remembered something. What's going on, Vegeta? Don't you know? Beerus pressed, seeing Vegeta's reaction. Could Goten be planning to take the form of a great ape? Vegeta voiced his suspicion in horror. The silver-white energy Goten had released looked exactly like the artificial moon Vegeta had once created, and Goten's tail had grown back. With Jiren so powerful, this might be Goten's last resort, but it seemed naive because modern Saiyan transformations had far surpassed the Great Ape form, which only increased strength tenfold. This seemed like a short-sighted move. It seems true! Vegeta, I remember when you and I first fought, you did the same thing, and turned into a giant ape. But why would Goten change into that form when he can become a Super Saiyan? Goku wondered, puzzled. Super Saiyan transformations were much more powerful than the Great Ape form. Goten's current limit was Super Saiyan 2, so abandoning that for the Great Ape form made no sense. Great Ape form? Is it strong? Beerus asked. No, compared to the Super Saiyan form, the Great Ape form isn't strong at all. If Goten turns into a Great Ape, he might lose his mind and become a monster who can only destroy... It's a really bad decision, Vegeta said with a frown. As a low-class Saiyan, Kakarot couldn't control his sanity after becoming a Great Ape, and as his son, Goten likely wouldn't be able to control his sanity either. This would make the situation worse. How could this happen? Has Goten been driven out of his mind by that guy from the 11th universe? Beerus frowned. Goten was their only hope for the 7th universe. If he lost his mind, they might be eliminated soon. Beerus-sama, I think it's better not to worry too much. Although Jiren from the 11th universe is really strong, he hasn't done much damage to Goten, and I don't believe Goten, who has always been calm, would do something stupid. Let's keep watching. Maybe he has other plans. Whis suggested. Seeing Beerus' frown, Whis immediately spoke up. Although he didn't know Goten's ultimate purpose, with his knowledge of Goten, he was confident Goten wouldn't do something stupid. Beerus didn't speak anymore and kept his eyes on Goten and the others in the ring. He hoped Whis was right and Goten hadn't lost his mind because of the possibility of defeat. Thump! 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 Roar! With each faster heartbeat, a painful sound came from Goten's throat, and his body began to change little by little. Visible brown hair appeared on his face, and his facial features started to shift. Others might not know what Goten was planning, but Trunks understood perfectly. Is Goten finally going to become Super Saiyan 4? It's great! I don't know what level his strength will reach after becoming Super Saiyan 4. Trunks said to himself in great surprise. He had looked forward to Goten becoming Super Saiyan 4 since their time on Kaioshin's planet, but Goten had no such plans back then. Now it seemed Goten was ready. Jiren could feel the uneasiness in his heart growing stronger and stronger. Damn, feeling uneasy. It looks like that guy is breaking through. I will not allow this to happen. As Jiren prepared to move, Trunks, Krillin, Majin Buu, and Android number 21 appeared in front of him. They had one goal: buy time for Goten to complete his transformation. Go away. Do you intend to block me? Jiren yelled. No! But if you want us to leave, use your strength, Trunks replied without fear. They had to hold out until Goten completed his transformation. Whoosh! Krillin jumped high, bringing his hands to his forehead. 100 times solar flare. He cast the 100 times solar flare, knowing he couldn't be Jiren's opponent in battle. At least the solar flare could buy some time. In an instant, the dazzling light covered the entire arena. Jiren blocked his view with his arms, and even the Hawkeye-shin in the audience were temporarily blinded. What's going on? All Hawkeye-shin and Kaioshin blocked their eyes. They hadn't expected mere mortals to have such an outrageous ability. Wow, dazzling light. Isn't Krillin from the 7th universe too powerful? Zeno was excited, though the light had no effect on him. Grand Priest also remained calm. Indeed, with this ability, even the Hawkeye-shin will be temporarily blinded. It's amazing. Grand Priest replied with a nod. It was commendable for a mortal to have such an ability, though it could only hold back the opponent and had no real influence on Jiren. Krillin's plan worked perfectly. From the beginning, he never thought of defeating Jiren. Helping Goten by buying time was his goal. Final flash. Kamehameha! Ha! At the moment, Krillin cast the solar flare, Trunks, Gohan, and others launched their ki blasts with all their strength. Swish, rustle. A dark red aura suddenly surrounded Jiren, and Krillin's solar flare lost its power. Trunks, Gohan, and the others' ki blasts did no harm to Jiren. He took them head on and walked towards them evenly. That guy, what a monster! Everyone grimaced. They couldn't believe he shrugged off the ki blasts of 5 fighters simultaneously and kept moving forward as if they were nothing. Hey-che. A beast-like roar suddenly echoed from the ring. The other contestants looked towards the sound and saw a mountain-like body. A giant ape. That guy seems to be the mortal from the 7th universe. How did he suddenly turn into a giant ape? The surviving contestants were shocked. Goten had transformed, becoming as big as a mountain, dwarfing the other contestants like small bugs in comparison. So big! Goten is about to succeed, Trunks said, delighted. He knew that after becoming a great ape, Goten would soon transform into Super Saiyan 4. Trunks was more familiar with this process than anyone else. From the 7th universe audience stands, the old Kai exclaimed, I see. That kid, Goten, wants to become Super Saiyan 4 just like Trunks did. After seeing Goten in the form of a great ape, the old Kai immediately cried out in surprise. Goten had used this method before to help Trunks break through his own limit and become Super Saiyan 4, and now Goten was doing the same. Yes, Gosen zo sama. It's exactly like when Trunks turned into a giant ape, Shin said excitedly. After Trunks became Super Saiyan 4, his power skyrocketed. If Goten could achieve the same transformation, his strength would certainly increase dramatically. Maybe Jiren from the 11th universe would be no match for him. Hearing the conversation between the old Kai and Shin, Beerus and Goku were quite surprised. The transformation method for Super Saiyan 4 was revealed, and they eagerly awaited Goten's transformation, curious about how powerful he would become. At this moment, Jiren had defeated Trunks and the others decisively. Goten's scarlet eyes gradually returned to normal, and a vibrant green cake aura began to swirl around his body. As the aura grew more turbulent, a huge green light ball soon formed and enveloped Goten. Powerful cake was released instantly, causing the expressions of all the Haka-Hashin and angels to change. The angels looked horrified as they sensed Goten's rapidly rising strength, surpassing the level of Haka-Hashin and approaching angel level at an alarming speed. It's unbelievable. The strength of Goten from the 7th universe is already close to that of an angel, and he's still getting stronger. That guy actually has such a terrifying talent, Vado said, astonished by the huge green light ball on the ring. Power beyond angel had never been seen before in the universe. This was outrageous. Goten's current power was no longer something Jiren could resist. Jiren, get rid of that guy! Don't give him a chance. If this continues, we will lose. Belmont shouted to Jiren on the ring, forgetting to use the sound transmission technique. Margarita replied, "It's useless, dear. Jiren has lost his prime offensive moment. Goten's current strength has reached Angel's level, and Jiren simply can't compete with that." Jiren felt the immense power and sense of oppression. Damn it, I could have easily eliminated him, but now it was too late. Clenching his fists, Jiren released all his strength and punched the vibrant green energy ball out of thin air. Boom! The energy ball bounced back instantly, and the green energy barrier began to dim. Goten was highly anticipated. All the gods and contestants watched him, eager to see what level he had reached. As the vibrant green energy dissipated, Goten's figure appeared. What, the look like Trunks? It's really a transformation of Super Saiyan 4. Beerus cried out excitedly upon seeing Goten. Goten's new appearance was similar to Trunks's, but his hair and the aura flames around his body were green. Successful. Goten finally succeeded in becoming Super Saiyan 4. Great! We will definitely win this contest, Trunks exclaimed excitedly. They hadn't needed to worry at all. Once Goten became Super Saiyan 4, he could easily defeat Jiren. With Goten's extraordinary talent, there was nothing to fear. It's amazing. This power is so strong, it's suffocating. Thankfully, Goten isn't our opponent. Otherwise, I might not even have the courage to fight him, Krillin said in surprise. He had never felt such powerful ki before. It was no exaggeration to say that Goten's current strength was far beyond that of a Hakashin. Krillin, let's lead Jiren to Goten. Let's eliminate the other universe contestants, Trunks quickly suggested. The fight between Goten and Jiren was beyond their help, but they could handle the remaining contestants from other universes. Most of the powerful ones had been eliminated, and those who remained were of middle or lower strength. With Majin Buu and Android 21, their team was very strong. Good, Krillin agreed immediately. Then, with a flash, he attacked the other universe contestants. They moved like wolves among sheep. Few could stop their offensive. Meanwhile, in the audience, Zeno and Grand Priest watched eagerly. Yeah, Goten is really amazing. He actually changed into a new form. Zeno danced excitedly. He had thought Goten was going to be eliminated by Jiren, but the situation reversed quickly. He has indeed become more powerful. This kind of strength, I am afraid, is not weaker than an angel. I really didn't expect Goten to make a breakthrough at such a critical moment. His current strength is indeed not weaker than Jiren from the 11th universe. It seems likely that the 11th universe will lose the next fight. Grand Priest nodded, speaking seriously. It was incredible for a mortal to surpass the level of Hakashin and reach a strength comparable to an angel. Such talent was outrageous. If given time, Goten's strength could even reach Grand Priest's level. Since the birth of the universe, there had never been such a powerful mortal. According to Whis, Goten had only lived for a short dozen years, yet his power had surpassed Hakashin and angel levels within a decade. This kind of strength improvement was appalling and unnerving. Beerus and Shin were naturally excited. They felt the terrifying power emanating from Goten. Whis, after Goten transformed into the Super Saiyan 4 form, can you feel how strong he is now? Beerus asked curiously. Goten's current strength is no weaker than mine. If we fought, I might not necessarily be able to defeat him, Whis replied seriously. Goten's power shocked him. When they first met, Goten couldn't even beat Beerus. But now, within less than a year, he had achieved angel-level strength. This kind of training speed was abnormal. In fact, such rapid growth was not necessarily a good thing. Many might see Goten as a potential danger. People wouldn't care if Goten had ambitions. His strength and talent alone could be perceived as a threat. Whis hoped Goten could restrain his talent a bit after the Tournament of Power or keep a low profile to avoid trouble. After several months together, Whis had come to regard Goten as his apprentice. Naturally, he didn't want Goten to be too flashy and end up in trouble. At this time, on the 11th universe side, everyone's faces were ashen, especially after Margarita mentioned that Goten's strength was not weaker than an angel's. All hope was lost. No matter how strong Jiren was, there was still a gap between him and an angel, and now Goten was stronger than Jiren. This seemed to be their fate as the 11th universe. In the arena, Jiren looked at Goten with serious eyes. At this moment, Goten stood before him like an unfathomable abyss, more like a vast and boundless universe. Standing in front of Goten made Jiren feel very small, and his firm belief began to shake. Before, he had been certain that Goten couldn't be his opponent, but now he had lost that confidence. The oppressive feeling like facing the universe made him understand the gap between them. "Come on, Jiren, this is my true strength. Now let's decide the winner," Goten said lightly after becoming Super Saiyan 4. The power in his body was as vast as the universe, and he was very confident. Not even 12 angels could scare him. Along with his immense strength, he also had many powerful abilities, including those of Majin Buu, Janemba, and his immortal body. His strength had grown continuously, and now even an angel couldn't kill him. "I have to say, you have indeed become stronger. But I said long ago that I absolutely want to win this game, and I must win. So no matter how strong you become, I will defeat you," Jiren said to Goten, with a very firm gaze. He participated in this competition to obtain the Super Dragon Balls and bring his master back to life. No one could stop him from achieving this goal. "I am sorry. I will tell you clearly, you can't win this contest," Goten said lightly, extremely confident. Even if there were 2 more Jirens, he wouldn't be afraid at all. Jiren gritted his teeth and appeared in front of Goten like a ghost, then punched him hard in the face. Boom. The low crash sound was accompanied by a powerful impact. The surrounding platform was continuously shaken into powder, and there were fewer and fewer platforms to stand on. Boulders hovered in the null realm. What? Impossible. Does my full attack have no effect on him? Jiren was dumbfounded after punching Goten. He had shown all his strength and hit Goten's face precisely, but Goten remained motionless, his expression unchanged. It felt like hitting the hardest metal in the universe. "As I said, you have no chance of winning now. You can't defeat me." Goten tilted his neck slightly, a faint smile rising at the corner of his mouth. He grabbed Jiren's wrist, and his right fist hit Jiren's stomach like lightning, sinking more than 10 centimeters. Boom. Puff. Jiren spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body retreated violently, smashing a dozen boulders before landing on one at the edge. Blood continuously overflowed from his mouth, and his abdomen churned from the powerful punch. Wah, no. Impossible. How could the gap be so big? Absolutely impossible. I am a warrior after fusion. While Jiren hugged his stomach and vomited wildly, he began to doubt himself. Despite the fusion, he was still no match for Goten. The gap between them was like a world of difference, and no matter how hard he tried, it was impossible to close it. The pain in his abdomen made him feel unprecedented despair. Whoosh!
Just when he was in extreme pain and despair, Goten's body appeared in front of him again, like a god descending.
Looking down at Jiren, who was vomiting in front of him, Goten spoke. "It's over, Jiren. It is undeniable that after the fusion, you are indeed very strong, but still not my opponent. However, you don't have to despair. There is still a chance to do what you want in your heart." As Goten finished speaking, a huge ball of energy condensed in his palm, aimed directly at Jiren's forehead. What do you mean?" Jiren asked, clearly confused by Goten's words. He believed that losing today meant the complete elimination of the 11th universe, with no chance of survival or reviving his master. "Go down." Goten didn't explain further. The energy in his palm exploded instantly, swallowing Jiren's body and turning the huge boulder under his feet to powder. Jiren's body reappeared in the 11th universe's audience stands, seriously injured and unconscious. Jiren, Belmode and Toppo rushed to him. Thankfully, his life wasn't in danger. Margarita quickly used her angel staff to heal Jiren's wounds completely. Despite the healing, their universe's fate was sealed. "Dear, I'm so sorry. I can't help you," Margarita said to Belmode and Toppo. Although she wanted to change this outcome, she didn't have the ability or the right. "The tens of millions of years spent with you have been very lucky, Margarita. Thank you for your care over the thousands of years," Belmode said, surprisingly calm about their impending erasure. He glanced coldly at Goten in the ring. regretting not being able to eliminate this arrogant mortal. "Oh, how did Jiren get eliminated so quickly?" Zeno asked in surprise. Goten had completely defeated Jiren with only 2 attacks. "Yes! Goten has become too strong. Jiren is no match at all." Grand Priest nodded. "Zeno-sama, all the contestants from the 11th universe have been eliminated. Just now, all the contestants from the 2nd universe, the 3rd universe, and the 4th universe have also been eliminated. Currently, only the 6th universe and the 7th universe are left in the ring. According to the rules, the 4 universes with all their contestants eliminated would be erased next." If that's the case, let's erase these 4 universes too," Zeno said, raising his right hand. "Disappear!" The moment his voice fell, white light was released from his fist. The gods and contestants of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 11th universes were enveloped in a silvery white light. "Zeno-sama, please spare our lives. Please spare us," cried several universe Hakashin, begging for mercy. Despite their pleas, their bodies disappeared, little by little, and the Null Realm quickly quieted down. The angels of the 6 remaining universes stayed, but their Hakashin and contestants vanished without a trace. The once bustling Null Realm became empty. Although this was the outcome Beerus wanted, seeing his opponents being wiped out one by one did not bring him joy. Only the 6th universe remained, and within it, only the fused Kefla was desperately resisting. Her resistance was futile. Even after fusing, she couldn't defeat Trunks and Krillin, let alone Goten. "Hey, Beerus, I didn't expect to lose to you again this time. However, I must admit that the mortal level of your universe is indeed very high. We may never see you again. I have always been unconvinced by you, but now I am convinced." Champa, who had always had a contentious relationship with Beerus, spoke sincerely. At this moment of parting between life and death, past grievances seemed insignificant. Even being eliminated by the 7th universe, he did not blame Beerus, as this was beyond the Hakashin's control. "Champa," Beerus murmured, looking at his brother. "Don't pretend to be caring. It makes me sick to see you like this, Beerus," Champa cursed loudly, changing his attitude immediately. He then proudly raised his double chin. Beerus did not refute this time, nor did he fight back. He knew this was Champa's last moment, and their brotherly quarrel was something that couldn't change in this life. With the disappearance of 6 universes, the competition in the arena was almost over. Boom! Krillin and Trunks blasted out with both fists, and Kefla quickly responded. However, after the impact, Kefla was knocked back by tens of feet. She had bruises of varying degrees on her body. The power of a fused warrior was formidable. But Trunks in his Super Saiyan 4 form and Krillin, who was comparable to Trunks, were not easy to deal with. Their combined strength surpassed that of Goku and Vegeta. Under this strong alliance, even a fused fighter like Kefla struggled. Kamehameha. Final flash! After repelling Kefla, Krillin and Trunks unleashed their strongest attacks without hesitation. In this fight, only one universe was destined to survive. They had to give it their all for their loved ones, for the Earth, and to be worthy of Goten. Ha! Kefla immediately gathered energy to fight back. The 3 energies collided, evenly matched, for half a minute. As Krillin and Trunks ramped up their efforts, the tables turned. After a few seconds, their energy streams hit Kefla, causing her to collapse into Kalefla and Kaela. The boulder under their feet shattered, and they fell into the Null Realm, reappearing in the 6th universe's audience stands, signifying their elimination. With the 6th universe's contestants eliminated, the ending was expected. Zeno and Grand Priest remained calm, as this outcome was inevitable after Goten's breakthrough. Bang! Bang! As Caulifla and Kale fell to the 6th universe's audience stands. Caulifla looked embarrassed. She looked up at Champa and said, "I'm so sorry, Champa-sama. I was too confident again." She had hoped to be the most eye-catching fighter, but ended up losing embarrassingly. She didn't even get a chance to fight Goten. You guys have always been like this. This result was within my expectations, and there is nothing to be angry about. Since you've lost, wait to be erased, Champa said calmly, not causing trouble or pleading. He knew it was all in vain. No one could change Zeno's decision. Damn, it's a shame we didn't beat those guys, Caulifla said, looking at the 7th universe's fighters. She wasn't afraid of erasure. Her biggest regret was not having a good fight with Goten. At this time, the Grand Priest's voice echoed. 6th universe. All contestants have been eliminated. Zeno-sama, the competition is over, and the final winner is the 7th universe. Is it over so soon? Well, it was very enjoyable to watch. Since the 6th universe is eliminated according to the rules, it should be erased. Zeno raised his right hand high again with a light grip, silver white light shone instantly, covering everyone in the 6th universe with a silvery white light. Goodbye, Skinny. Toppo waved at Beerus, then stuck out his tongue playfully. In the next second, the bodies of everyone in the 6th universe disappeared. He still acts like a lousy loser until the very end. Beerus clenched his fist tightly, his heart heavier than anyone else's. Toppo was his brother, and although they always bickered, the saying blood is thicker than water couldn't be changed. Seeing his brother disappear like this, no one would be happy. Champa-sama, Vados murmured with some reluctance. Although it wasn't always pleasant to be around Champa, as he was lazy and fat, they had been together for hundreds of millions of years. Now suddenly separated, she felt a bit sad. But as an angel, she knew she shouldn't have such redundant emotions. Zeno-sama, all the fights are over. According to the previous rules, the universe that wins in the end will get a chance to make a wish to Super Shenron. Should we summon Super Shenron now? Grand Priest asked Zeno. He didn't know what wish Goten would make this time. He and Zeno had already discussed this matter. No matter which universe won, there was only one wish they could make to restore all the erased universes. If the contestant who won the tournament selfishly wished otherwise, the other universes would not be restored, and the wishing universe would also be erased. These universes were originally ones with a relatively low, comprehensive level, and Zeno had thought of erasing them long ago. This competition was an opportunity for all universes. Okay. Since the 7th universe has won the final victory, please, Grand Priest, summon Super Shenron. Zeno nodded. He then turned his attention to Goten and the others. He was very curious about what kind of wish Goten would make. Intuition told him that Goten was not only talented, but also ambitious. He didn't feel that Goten would make a selfless wish to restore the erased universes. Perhaps today, the 8 participating universes would be completely wiped out. Okay, Grand Priest nodded. With a light wave of his staff, 7 huge Super Dragon Balls appeared in the Null Realm, suspended in midair. After the Grand Priest spoke the chant to summon the dragon, the 7 huge Super Dragon Balls exuded a dazzling golden light. Immediately afterward, the golden light condensed into Super Shenron. Super Shenron appeared in everyone's sight, still ridiculously big, making everyone feel smaller than dust. Grand Priest looked at Super Shenron solemnly. Even Zeno jumped off his throne to eye Super Shenron. This scene made Goten feel incredible. Zeno was the supreme god in all universes, the most powerful being in this dimension. According to rumors from his past life, if the dragon god Zalama was really just the former Grand Priest, then Zeno wouldn't bother with Super Shenron at all. And the Super Shenron created by dragon god Zalama should show fear and respect after seeing Zeno, just as Shenron of Earth showed to Beerus. But the current scene was different. Zeno was extra polite to Super Shenron, and Super Shenron showed no fear or awe when facing Zeno. Whis, what kind of wish do you think that kid Goten will come up with? Beerus asked curiously. He couldn't figure out Goten at all. He didn't know what was going on in his mind. He always felt that Goten was very mysterious. Besides being powerful, it seemed that many things were under his control. I don't know that either, Beerus-sama. However, according to my guess, Goten will make a wish to make himself stronger, Whis speculated. Since knowing Goten, his strength had been increasing day by day, and his desire for strength seemed to far exceed that of others. Such a good opportunity, he should make a wish to make himself stronger. Hee, I don't think so. Although Goten yearns to become stronger, Saiyans don't want to become stronger in this way. Goku smiled and said to Beerus and Whis, although he didn't know Goten very well, he thought Goten wouldn't make such a wish. Vegeta agreed. This time, Kakarot and I think the same way. As a Saiyan, I absolutely disdain to become stronger in this way. However, they were not Goten, so they couldn't know what he thought. More importantly, although Goku and Vegeta's desire for power was strong, they never considered going against Hakushrine or Angel. They never thought they would one day fight Zeno and the others. But Goten had to think about these things. If they did not have enough strength, it could be their 7th universe wiped out today. To prevent this, he would do anything. Saiyan pride was not as important to him as life. Goten, you won the final prize, so you also get a chance to make a wish to Super Shenron. Now, the 6 of you are still on the ring, so you can discuss what wish you want to make, Grand Priest said calmly, looking at Goten and the others on the boulder. In reality, all decisions were in Goten's hands. Goten, what wish do you want to make? Krillin asked curiously. Trunks and Gohan were also quite curious. After finally winning this fight, what would Goten's final wish be? Hee. Goten smiled wryly at Krillin's question. This tournament of power was designed by Zeno and Grand Priest, and they had already planned the end result. If the wish wasn't made according to their expectations, the 8 universes would be wiped out. Although he wanted to wish for more strength, he knew that doing so would result in the 7th universe being erased. The only way to survive was to wish to restore the erased universes. Have you discussed it? If you have, please express your wish. The Grand Priest's voice sounded again. Come on, any wish can come true. You can say whatever you want, Zeno said with a smile. Despite his naive, harmless appearance, no one underestimated him. He had just clenched his fists and destroyed the 7 universes. Zeno-sama, my wish is simple. Seeing the destruction of 7 universes just now, I feel awful. While I don't quite see eye to eye with a few of the Hakachin, billions of lives in a universe are innocent. So, my wish is, can the universes that were erased just now be restored? Goten said respectfully. What, Goten? How can you make such a wish? This is a rare opportunity. Even a little improvement in strength is good. And those universes were erased by Zeno-sama himself. If you do this, it's not good. Gohan said, worried that Goten's wish would contradict Zeno. Don't worry, I have my own ideas, Goten replied lightly. Seeing his confidence, they stopped questioning. They knew Goten had his reasons. Beerus and Whis were quite surprised, as were the angels from other universes. Angel Margarita from the 11th universe was especially shocked. Bomod had wanted to eliminate the 7th universe and kill Goten, yet Goten repaid their maliciousness with kindness by using his wish to revive the 7 erased universes. No one in the multiverse would likely do such a thing. While they were known as righteous warriors, none matched Goten's level of kindness. That boy Goten, I never thought he would make such a wish. It looks like I'll have to look at him with admiration from now on, Beerus said, surprised but happy at the thought of his brother Champa being resurrected.
That's right, Beerus-sama. Whis was quite surprised by this. He thought that Goten's wish would definitely be to make himself stronger, or to give himself certain abilities. But unexpectedly, his wish was to restore all the universes that were just erased. This was indeed incredible.
Even Zeno and the Grand Priest showed disbelief on their faces. Goten, do you know that Super Shenron can grant any wish? The Grand Priest asked with some disbelief. You didn't make a wish for yourself, but to restore the universes that disappeared just now. Are you sure this is your wish? After all, he couldn't believe it when Goten expressed such a wish. Mortals had always been relatively greedy by nature. Such a selfless desire was unexpected. Really? Really? Goten, do you really want to make this wish? Zeno also asked curiously. He never thought someone would make such a wish, especially Goten, who had won in the end. It was as if Goten knew what he had discussed with the Grand Priest beforehand. Yes, Zeno-sama, Daishinken-sama, Goten nodded seriously. This is my wish. Everyone who was erased just now will be restored. His tone was serious, emphasizing that he meant to resurrect all the people who were erased just now, not everyone wiped out by Zeno. Restoring everyone could cause a significant turmoil in the multiverse. Okay, since you're sure that's the wish, I'll help you realize it right away. The Grand Priest smiled and nodded. He then conveyed the wish to Super Shenron. Okay, yours is pretty simple, Super Shenron immediately agreed. A scarlet light flashed in his eyes, and in the next second, the 7 universes that had disappeared reappeared in their original places. Okay, I have fulfilled your wish. Farewell. After Super Shenron's voice fell, he instantly turned into 7 golden rays of light and disappeared into the null realm. At this time, everyone who had just been resurrected was shocked. They had indeed been completely wiped out by Zeno. So why were they revived now? What's going on here? Why were we resurrected? Didn't Zeno-sama wipe us out just now? Champa looked at Vados beside him in surprise and asked. Champa-sama, you had indeed been completely wiped out by Zeno-sama before, Vitos explained seriously. But just now, Daishinkam-sama summoned Super Shenron, and as the final winner of this Tournament of Power, the seventh universe's wish was to restore all the universes that were erased just now. So, you were resurrected. This time, you have to thank Goten of the seventh universe. Vitos still couldn't believe Goten's decision. Many Hakayushin had targeted him. If it were an ordinary person, they would not wish to revive these gods. But Goten was able to ignore past grievances. Such kindness was not common. You must be joking. It was actually that kid from the seventh universe who brought us back to life? How is this possible? He should logically hate us. Champa found it hard to believe Vados' words. They had been targeting Goten and the seventh universe before. That kid didn't seem like the type to repay malice with kindness. Believe it or not, that's the truth. Anyway, Vados stopped explaining. Beerus, what the hell are you doing? Why would you make such a strange wish? Champa looked at Beerus immediately and asked. He thought it must be Beerus's wish because he couldn't believe it was Goten's. How would I know? This wish was originally decided by Goten, and to be honest, I was surprised too. Beerus said, helplessly, he had never thought about making such a wish because it could potentially displease Zeno. After all, Zeno himself had erased the previous 7 universes. Whoa. Caulifla looked at Cal excitedly and then looked at Goten on the ring seriously. I really didn't expect that it was Goten from the 7th universe who revived us, she said in a low voice. It seems that I underestimated the Saiyans of the 7th universe. They not only have stronger power than us, but also a much larger heart than us. If this fight had ended with their 6th universe winning, she wouldn't have made such a selfless wish. In this regard, Goten was obviously much better than them. Yes, sister. That's great. Kale was also thrilled. Goten, you are the first person I admire, Hit said, looking at Goten. What had happened just now made many Hakeishin and Kaioshin from other universes feel very grateful to Goten. Although they were gods, they also had hearts full of gratitude. This time, the Tournament of Power was originally organized by Zeno and the Grand Priest. The rule that if you lose, you would be erased was also set by the two of them. The 7th universe was just like the others, just an ordinary contestant. So, even if they were erased in the end, it didn't actually have much to do with the 7th universe. After being wiped out, Goten was able to make a wish to bring them back to life. This was already a great kindness. Of course, some people thought so, but others didn't. They blamed Goten for everything that was erased, and even felt humiliated. It's unbelievable that we're resurrected again. What's even more unbelievable is that it was Goten from the 7th universe who wished to bring us back to life, Toppo said, looking at his recovered body in extreme surprise. To be honest, he never dreamed that Goten would make a wish to bring them back to life. From the beginning of this fight, the 11th universe kept targeting the 7th universe. And although they called themselves Pride Troopers, Righteous Warriors, if they had won the final championship, there was no doubt that they would never make such a selfless wish. This time, Goten's performance was a bit unexpected. To be honest, even I feel very curious. Even Whis, who knows the 7th universe best, seems obviously surprised by this result. Margarita added, it had to be said that just because of this wish, the favorability of other universes towards the 7th universe suddenly increased a lot. At this moment, Jiren seemed to be thinking about something. After a while, he finally said, I finally understand why Goten said that there is still a chance. It turns out that when he was fighting me, he had already determined his wish in his heart. I am really ashamed to admit it. We claim to be righteous warriors every day, but we are not as good as Goten. He is an admirable warrior. Jiren's words made all the contestants in the 11th universe serious, and they all nodded. They agreed with what Jiren said. In fact, each of them was a righteous warrior. It's just that in this fight, their positions were different. So in this fight, there were no absolute villains, just different positions. They just wanted to desperately keep their universe alive. However, Belmont's face was still gloomy and terrifying. Although he came back from the dead because of Goten, he would never forget the humiliation that mortal gave him. Belmont was not the only one with such thoughts. Other gods felt the same way. At this time, in the audience stands over Zeno and the Grand Priest. The Grand Priest spoke, "Everyone, congratulations on being able to resurrect again. For all this, you owe Goten of the 7th universe, because he was the one who took advantage of Super Shenron's wish and resurrected all of you. At the same time, everyone in the 7th universe should also feel lucky." Before this tournament of power started, Zeno-sama and I discussed how to deal with the universes whose mortal level was too low. Zeno-sama's previous decision was to directly erase all 8 of your universes. Some time ago, Zeno-sama discovered the competition between the 7th universe and the 6th universe. He felt that such a competition was very interesting, so he held this competition and gave you a way to survive. At the very beginning of this competition, I discussed it with Zeno-sama. If the universe that wins in the end has other wishes because of selfishness, then all 8 of your universes would be erased. I have to say that everyone is very lucky. The wish of the 7th universe's Goten contestant is just as we expected. So you have a chance to survive, and the 7th universe also has a chance to survive. The Grand Priest directly explained his and Zeno's previous plans. His speech made all the gods and contestants tremble. It turned out to be like this. We were almost erased. Thanks to Goten for making such a wish, we survived. Beerus and the others suddenly realized, that was to say, even if they had won the final championship, if the outstanding contestants were too selfish and wished only to benefit themselves, then the 8 universes would still be erased. Indeed it is. However, I'm a little suspicious now. Did Goten know about Zeno-sama's and the Grand Priest's intentions before us? Whis said curiously. Before, he felt that such a wish was a bit out of line with Goten's character. Now, after hearing the Grand Priest's explanation, his suspicion grew even stronger. At this time, the gods and contestants from other universes also felt lucky from the bottom of their hearts. Fortunately, it was Goten of the 7th universe who won the final prize. If the victory had gone to any other universe, they might have been completely wiped out long ago. Zeno and the Grand Priest's approach was really hard to guard against. Alright, announce another piece of news to everyone. Grand Priest continued, because of the 7th universe's outstanding performance in the Tournament of Power, and the wish made by contestant Goten, the comprehensive mortal level of the 7th universe has been improved. So the comprehensive ranking of mortals in the 7th universe is now the 4th from the bottom. For such a result, all universes had no opinion. Even if the 7th universe became the 1st in the overall ranking, they wouldn't mind. The contestants from the 7th universe performed too dazzlingly in this Tournament of Power. Zeno-sama, do you have any other orders? The Grand Priest asked. Not anymore. It was a pleasure to watch today's fight. I think I want to rest a little bit now. Let everyone go back. Zeno shook his head and said, after watching the fight for so long, it was time for a good nap. Okay. The Grand Priest nodded immediately. Then he turned to everyone and said, everyone, please go back. Yes, Zeno-sama, Daishinkan-sama, all the gods and contestants nodded quickly. They didn't want to stay in this dangerous place any longer, fearing they might suddenly be erased again. Immediately afterward, all the gods and contestants were sent back to their respective universes by the Grand Priest. After everyone left the Null Realm, Zeno looked at the Grand Priest and asked, Grand Priest, what do you think of Goten from the 7th universe? Zeno-sama, Goten is very strong and talented. It is no exaggeration to say that he exists at the apex of mortals. It is estimated that in the eons to come, such a powerful mortal will not appear, the Grand Priest replied seriously. His words were true. In hundreds of millions of years, there had never been such a powerful mortal as Goten. His talent was indeed extraordinary. In just over a dozen years, he had possessed power beyond the level of an angel. If given enough time to practice, surpassing the Grand Priest himself might not be impossible. Although Goten didn't show it in the Tournament of Power, the Grand Priest could feel the divine key of destruction in his body. Okay, Goten is really strong, but I can always feel that he is different from others, as if he has a very mysterious aura, Zeno said seriously. Though a bit uncertain, he couldn't perceive what that mysterious aura was, but it intrigued him. Zeno-sama, I actually feel the same way. I think it's really difficult to reach this level with only a mortal's talent. The Grand Priest nodded immediately. He had this feeling before, but it was always uncertain. Forget it! Let's not discuss these things for now. Actually, after this Tournament of Power ended, I had an idea, that is to make Goten the Daihakaishin. What do you think? Zeno asked if he felt that Goten was so powerful that he had the right to become a Grand God of Destruction, one level lower than the Grand Priest. In terms of strength alone, there is indeed no more suitable candidate than Goten in all universes. If Zeno-sama has such an idea, then I think this matter is feasible. The Grand Priest froze for a moment, then nodded. Goten's strength had indeed completely surpassed the level of a Hawkeye Shin. Given time, it was estimated that even beings on the level of an angel would not be his opponents, so it was understandable for him to become the Daihaki Shin. After all, in this world, strength was the most important thing. Really? The Grand Priest thinks so too, right? Zeno asked excitedly after hearing that the Grand Priest agreed. If that's the case, then this matter should be decided first. Zeno was thrilled. If Goten could become the Grand God of Destruction, maybe he could stay by his side for a long time. He didn't know why, but after meeting Goten, everything seemed more fun. Perhaps after becoming the Grand God of Destruction, things wouldn't be so boring. Okay, Lord Zeno, you can decide this matter, the Grand Priest said respectfully. Though he was feared by all the gods as the Grand Priest, in reality, he was just a steward for Zeno. His status was similar to that of an angel. He could give Zeno a lot of advice, but couldn't make decisions for him. Well, but I'm a little sleepy now. Let Goten come over when I wake up, Zeno said, stretching his waist. After that, everyone returned to the Temple of Zeno, and the Tournament of Power officially ended. Meanwhile, everyone in the 7th universe had been sent back to the God of Destruction realm in their universe. Goten, thank you for this, Beerus said sincerely. If you hadn't won the game and made that wish, our 8 universes would have suffered this time. I really didn't expect Lord Zeno and the Grand Priest to test us like this. If the 11th universe had won the final match, their selfishness would have led to the destruction of the 8 universes. Beerus was genuinely grateful when he competed against the 6th universe last time. He was already thankful to Goten. If it wasn't for Goten rejecting Zeno's request and becoming the 7th universe's God of Destruction, Beerus might have turned to cosmic dust, and even his soul would have ceased to exist. From then on, Beerus considered Goten his best friend and benefactor. There's nothing to thank, Beerus. I also saved Earth and everyone I care about, so you don't have to thank me. Goten smiled. If he wasn't a transmigrator, things would have been dangerous this time. But fortunately, he knew Zeno and the Grand Priest's plan. This time, he saved the day and avoided erasure. His desire for strength grew stronger. With absolute strength, he wouldn't have feared anything today. He wouldn't need to adhere to the whims of Zeno and the Grand Priest, though they might not have ill intentions. He disliked the feeling of their whims controlling everything. Someday, they might call upon him again. Anyway, you saved the entire universe this time. From now on, no matter what happens, as long as I can help, I will never back down. Beerus said, righteously. Goten saved his life twice. If a future crisis arose, he would help without hesitation, even if it cost his own life. Though he feared death, he considered himself a loyal god.
Then I thank you for that help in advance. Goten said sincerely, sensing Beerus's genuine friendship. He didn't have many true friends in this world. Krillin was one, Trunks barely another, and perhaps now Beerus too. He believed that relationships were simple. If you treat me well, I will treat you well. If you want to harm me, I will defend myself by harming you.
They chatted briefly before Goten returned to Earth with them. Goku and Vegeta planned to continue training in the God of Destruction realm, but Goten promised Chi-Chi he would bring Goku and Gohan back for a family reunion in 2 days. He couldn't break that promise. After some thought, Beerus and Whis also chose to go to Earth, too. They had been worried about the Tournament of Power and hadn't enjoyed their food. This was a perfect opportunity to enjoy delicious food with confidence, knowing Zeno wouldn't hold such a competition again soon. Now, Palzu, Goku, Gohan, the halo above your heads has disappeared, and you are really resurrected. It's great. Chi-Chi hugged them excitedly after seeing Goku and Gohan in front of her. After 9 years of separation, they were finally reunited. After this reunion, they would never be separated again. Okay, Chi-Chi, I just finished participating in the competition and consumed too much energy. Now my stomach is growling with hunger. Can you make something to eat first? Goku patted Chi-Chi on the back, then scratched his head in embarrassment. Okay, wait a moment. Videl and I will prepare something right away. Chi-Chi quickly agreed and went to prepare food. The father and son also enjoyed a rare reunion. To be honest, they had never sat at the same table together. Goten, you're really getting better now. I didn't expect your strength to reach the point where we have to look up to you, Goku said, pleased. There was no envy or jealousy, just pure happiness for his son. It was indeed gratifying to be the most powerful mortal in the universe. Goten, I'm curious. How on earth do you train? How can your strength become so powerful? When Dad and Vegeta were in the underworld, they trained day and night without any slack. But for 8 years, they only reached the peak of Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 2, and you became so powerful without anyone's training. Gohan asked curiously. This was a question he had always wondered about. Logically, both of them were sons of Goku, so their talent shouldn't be too bad. But Goten's current strength had already surpassed the God of Destruction. Yet, even with Whis' training, Gohan's strength had just reached Super Saiyan Blue. This gap sometimes made him feel awkward. I don't know what to tell you either. Anyway, I kept training, and I became so strong. Goten shrugged and replied, perfunctorily, after all, he couldn't tell them about the system in his body. Even if he did, they might not believe it. Both of them looked helpless, not knowing how to continue the conversation. What does it mean to become so strong after training? They had trained desperately for some time, but had never become so strong. By the way, Goten, I'm even more curious why the Kidara around your body is vibrant green when you become a Super Saiyan. That look is exactly like the Saiyan Broly you met in the Southern Galaxy. What's going on? Did your Saiyan bloodline mutate? Gohan asked again. It wasn't impossible for a bloodline to mutate. Both he and his father had ordinary Saiyan blood, but Goten's bloodline seemed to have mutated. I don't know much about this. When I fought Janemba last time, I got very angry, and I became like that after transforming. As for what happened in between, I don't understand. Goten shook his head and continued to reply perfunctorily. Goku and Gohan could only choose to believe him. After all, they felt Goten wouldn't lie to them, and sometimes these things were indeed unclear. An hour later, a table of delicacies was ready. Chi-Chi's cooking was very much to Goku's liking. A large table of dishes was devoured in a short while. Feeding 3 Saiyans was really expensive. Time passed day by day. Half a month went by in a blink of an eye. Just a few days ago, Goku and Vegeta couldn't bear the boring life anymore. In the end, they chose to go to the God of Destruction realm to continue their training. After participating in the Tournament of Power, they knew there were countless strong people in the universe, many stronger than them. Not wanting to be outdone, they naturally chose to improve their strength desperately. Maybe they couldn't surpass Goten in this life, but at least they couldn't let the distance between them grow too big. Although Chi-Chi and Bulma were quite opposed, Saiyans were really stubborn when they decided to train and couldn't be reasoned with. In the end, they could only agree to let them go to the God of Destruction realm, but with a condition: they must come back at least twice a month. Gohan and Trunks also followed them to the God realm for training. At this time in Mount Pazu, Goten was enjoying a rare quiet life. He didn't train for a few days, choosing instead to relax for a while. He knew his strength was still far from those like Zeno and the Grand Priest, but training blindly and pushing the limits of his body wasn't always a good idea. Sometimes, a bit of relaxation was necessary. Besides, with his legendary bloodline and potential developed by Super Shenron, his strength would increase day by day, even without daily training. Goten, do you remember what you said to me the night before you went to that tournament? Videl suddenly spoke. After that night, she had been waiting for Goten to come back. But with Goku and Gohan returning together, she didn't have the nerve to mention it. Now that they went to train in the God of Destruction realm, she had time to bring it up. This was the best opportunity to speed up their relationship, and she couldn't miss it. Of course I remember. I said that after the Tournament of Power was over, I would take you on a tour to other planets. I was busy a few days ago, so I ignored this matter. If you're ready, let's go tomorrow. Goten quickly nodded with a smile. He had always kept his promise in his heart and hadn't forgotten it. It was just that there were many trivial matters to attend to recently, so he hadn't fulfilled it yet. I'm ready. I've been ready for a long time. Videl nodded happily. She was very excited. During this time, she had been preparing every day, always ready. Okay, tell Mom after you go back. Let's set off tomorrow morning. Goten nodded with a smile. After such a long time, he had fully accepted Videl. It wasn't an option to keep procrastinating like this. and it was unfair to Videl. Now it was time to finalize their relationship. Alright, I'll go and get us food for the trip now. I heard from Goku a few days ago that the food on other planets is terrible. Videl nodded quickly and went to prepare the food happily. Watching her, a smile appeared on Goten's face. Now 15 years old, and having been an adult in his previous life, he had reached the age for considering the matters about love and relationships. There had to be some seasoning for the boring days of training and getting stronger. Meanwhile, in the 11th universe, Belmont sat on a mountaintop in a daze while Margarita was training the God of Destruction candidate, Toppo. After the Tournament of Power, Toppo realized his strength was too weak for the position of God of Destruction. So he asked Margarita to train him to be stronger, qualifying him for the position. Belmont didn't care about that at all. His expression had been very serious since he came back from the Null Realm. Damned mortal, don't think that I will be grateful to you for restoring the 11th universe. The humiliation you caused me before, I will never forgive. I will never let you go. Belmont smiled maliciously to himself. He would never let Goten from the 7th universe get away with it. Hey! Lord Belmode's obsession is a bit too deep now. If it goes on like this, I'm afraid it won't be a good thing. Maybe it will cost his life, Margarita thought to herself. She knew what Belmode was thinking. He was still brooding over his defeat by Goten at Zeno's temple. For him, it was not a good thing because Goten's strength had far surpassed the level of a god of destruction. The wisest thing to do was to forget about it completely, but she couldn't persuade Belmode, who was too obsessed. I hope Lord Belmode won't do something stupid. Margarita murmured softly, continuing to train Toppo. Just as she was starting to continue training, a mysterious dimensional portal appeared in the sky of the God Realm. Immediately, a figure emerged from the portal. The person had silver white hair styled like a Saiyan's after becoming Super Saiyan, with a pinch of silver white bangs in front of his eyebrows. Like an angel, he had light blue skin and light purple pupils, wore a black cloak, and had a warm smile on his face. His appearance and style were somewhat similar to an angel. The moment he appeared, Margarita felt it and raised her head abruptly. Surprise and fear in her eyes. "Big brother!" she called out subconsciously after seeing the familiar face. Belmode and Toppo also looked back immediately. That guy, who is he? How can he easily enter the God Realm by creating portals? Both of them were extremely shocked. The realm of the God of Destruction was not accessible to ordinary people. "It's been a long time, Margarita," the visitor said with a warm smile, directly ignoring Belmont and Toppo. He looked at Margarita. "Big brother, long time no see." Margarita greeted the man in front of her very politely. This man who had suddenly appeared was also an angel. Whoosh! In a flash, Belmode appeared directly beside Margarita. In a deep voice, he asked, "Margarita, who is this guy? Why do you call him Big Brother?" Belmode already had a guess in his heart. The one who could be called a brother by an angel must also be an angel. Looking at his skin color and hair color, they were exactly the same as an angel. More importantly, his facial features and the smile on his face were almost exactly the same as the Grand Priest. Although Belmode had his suspicions, he wanted to be sure. "Lord Belmode, this is Angel Murno from the 13th universe and the eldest of all our angels," Vitos introduced without hesitation. She was very curious. Hundreds of millions of years ago, because of a sudden decision by Zeno, the 13th universe was erased. Since then, their eldest brother, Murno, had disappeared. Although many angels expressed their doubts, no one dared to ask, because it was Zeno and the Grand Priest's decision, so the angels naturally had no right to ask. Even for Whis, who had the best relationship with the Grand Priest, it wasn't easy to inquire. This was the duty of an angel: always remain neutral, don't ask what you shouldn't ask, and don't say what you shouldn't say. Is that so? "This guy is indeed an angel," Belmode frowned tightly. Although he had heard of the 13th universe, it was wiped out by Zeno long before he became the God of Destruction. So many gods were not interested in the 13th universe. Even if they were, usually angels would not tell them. Now, the angel from the 13th universe had suddenly appeared in the 11th universe, and he didn't know what his intentions were. Moreover, he felt that Angel Murno seemed a little different from other angels. There was no peace of mind that typically belonged to an angel. His bearing was more like a warrior, much like a Saiyan. But is it really an angel? Toppo was extremely shocked. He had also heard about the 13th universe. He didn't expect to meet the angel of the 13th universe today, and if he could appear in the 11th universe's God of Destruction world, it meant that he had recovered the ability of an angel. Margarita, is this your God of Destruction and the God of Destruction candidate for the 11th universe? Being humiliated repeatedly by a mortal from the 7th universe. To be honest, they're garbage. Murno looked at Belmod and Toppo with disdain. Although he was the angel, his tone was completely different from other angels. Hearing these words, Belmod gritted his teeth, but he didn't dare to offend an angel. The angel in front of him had obviously recovered his abilities and wouldn't hesitate to kill him. This was definitely not something he could handle. If he tried to be tough with this angel, it would likely end in his own destruction. Although Goten was very powerful, he was just a mortal with no significant background. This was completely incomparable to an angel. Angels were the children of the Grand Priest and had strong backgrounds, so he didn't dare to resist the angel at all. If the Grand Priest was angered, he would be destroyed in minutes. TNN Lolo, Young Master Angel's background is big. Toppo recognizes Mentai. Brother, Lord Belmod is also very strong. It's just that Goten of the 7th universe is too powerful. His strength is not weaker than us, angels, so even if Lord Belmod loses, it's not a shameful thing. Margarita hurriedly defended. Big brother, you disappeared for hundreds of millions of years. Why did you suddenly appear? Where have you been all these years? Margarita immediately changed the subject. She was very curious about this. Even if the universe was destroyed, it was impossible for an angel to suffer any damage. At most, after a god of destruction died, an angel would lose its purpose and be recalled by the Grand Priest, and would be in a hibernation phase until other tasks were assigned. But Murno had disappeared without a trace after the 13th universe was destroyed. It looked like he was destroyed together with the 13th universe. It's not something you should know, Margarita, Murno said with a cold smile, then turned to Belmod. I can give you a chance to get revenge against that mortal from the 7th universe, and I can help you, he said. I don't know if you, the god of destruction of the 11th universe, have the guts. Of course, you may face the fate of being killed by that mortal when he becomes much stronger, or be wiped out by Zeno and the Grand Priest. He didn't come to the 11th universe to find Belmod, nor did he expect him to kill Goten. That was absolutely impossible. Because of what happened in the Tournament of Power and the Temple of Zeno, he already knew everything. Even if these weak gods of destruction increased their strength tenfold, it would be absolutely impossible for them to be Goten's opponent. He had his reasons for doing this now, as he was brewing a very great plan. Damn! Stop looking down on me! Belmod shouted. As long as I can kill that bastard mortal from the 7th universe, I can pay any price. Belmod's hatred for Goten ran deep. Perhaps it was his ego at work. In his opinion, mortals should not surpass the god of destruction, especially mortals from Beerus' universe. It was an insult to the gods. He would never forget the humiliation from that damned little bug in the Temple of Zeno. I didn't expect you to have a bit of courage, Murno said lightly. It seems I did not choose the wrong person. Since this is the case, I will provide you with this opportunity. Big brother, what exactly do you want to do? Margarita interrupted. Lord Belmod's strength is simply not enough to defeat Goten. If you let them fight, he will definitely be killed. As the angel of the 11th universe, I will prevent such a thing from happening. Margarita immediately took out her angel staff and spoke sharply to Murno. Although he was her elder brother, she would never agree to such a thing. If the Grand Priest knew about this, he would definitely blame her. Stop joking around, Margarita, Murno said dismissively. Your angel power has long been restricted, and thus, you are unable to fight. The only thing you can use now is Ultra Instinct to protect yourself. Do you think you can stop me with your Ultra Instinct? As the eldest of the angels, and a candidate for the position of Grand Priest, Murno knew the strengths of other angels best. Even if they could use their angel power, it was absolutely impossible for them to be his opponents. No angel could stop him except the Grand Priest. In these hundreds of millions of years, his strength had undergone qualitative changes. He had already broken through the shackles of an angel and fully mastered his own powers. Even if I can't stop you, I must resist, Margarita said, determined. Murno snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, a portal appeared directly behind Belmod. Before anyone could react, Belmod's body was absorbed into it and disappeared. Goodbye, Margarita, my dear sister, Murno said. After taking Bellamont away, Murno retreated slightly. A portal opened, and in the next second, his body completely disappeared from the God of Destruction realm. Margarita couldn't sense his divine ki at all. What is going on? Toppo asked, extremely surprised. Margarita, what do we do now? This matter must be reported to the Grand Priest as soon as possible, Margarita said with a frown. Otherwise, it could create an irreparable situation. The only one who could stop Murno now was the Grand Priest. The Angel's power was restricted, and they had no way to stop Murno. The two decided to go to the Temple of Zeno. Within the next 10 minutes, Murno traveled to the 9th, 10th, 6th, 4th, and several other universes. His purpose was to take away the God of Destruction from each universe. Some universes' gods of destruction accepted his proposal, while others rejected him. This time, they survived Zeno's erasure, mainly due to Goten from the 7th universe. Otherwise, even if their universe won the final prize, the 8 universes were still destined to be destroyed. Some gods of destruction were grateful for this. On a beautiful planet in the western galaxy of the 7th universe, Goten and Vidal were on a leisurely tour. The technology on this planet was relatively advanced, and the environment was very suitable for tourism. At this moment, Goten felt his right eyelid twitching. Goten, there seems to be something wrong with your expression. What's the matter? Is something going to happen? Vidal asked, seeing Goten's frown. She knew that with Goten's current strength, there weren't many things that could make him show such an expression. Obviously, something very bad could happen. Or rather, these things had already happened. I don't know, I am feeling a little uneasy. As if something very bad is about to happen. Goten shook his head solemnly. With his current strength, neither gods of destruction nor angels would pose any threat to him. The only ones who could make him feel this way were the Grand Priest and Zeno. Was it because Zeno and the Grand Priest were going to attack him for being too prominent in the Tournament of Power? But it shouldn't be. If they wanted to attack during the Tournament of Power, all 8 universes could have been completely wiped out. For these gods who stand at the top of the universe, there was no reason to play an elaborate trap to erase a person or a universe. They did these things mostly on a whim. Then, what should I do? Vidal asked nervously. Why don't we hurry back to Earth first? She suggested. After all, on Earth, there were other fighters who could help. If they stayed here, she couldn't help Goten at all, and might become a burden. I'm afraid it's too late. Goten's frown deepened. He spoke in a solemn tone. At that moment, 4 portals suddenly appeared in the sky. 4 figures emerged from the portals. 3 of them were very familiar. Quaitla, the god of destruction from the 4th universe. Rumshi from the 10th universe. And Belmod from the 11th universe. The last one, however, Goten had never seen before. This person had silver white hair that stood up high with bangs on his forehead, somewhat resembling a Super Saiyan. The corner of his mouth curled up, and his smile seemed harmless. Who is that guy? Why does he look so similar to the Grand Priest? Is this guy an angel from another universe? Goten ignored Belmod and Quaitla, focusing on the strange figure. This guy's appearance, skin color, and hair color were very similar to angels, especially his eyes, which looked like the Grand Priest. This made Goten immediately decide that this guy must be an angel. Even if he wasn't an angel, he definitely had something to do with angels. But among the 12 universes, he had never seen such a person, and his dress was completely different from the other 12 angels. Did the Super Shenron restore the other 6 universes? Goten thought immediately. His previous wish had been to restore all the universes that had just been wiped out by Zeno. He made it clear to prevent the other 6 universes from being restored, specifying only the universes wiped out in the Tournament of Power. But what about this guy? Yo! You are Mr. Goten from the 7th universe! During the Tournament of Power, you performed very well. I have admired your name for a long time, Murno greeted with a harmless smile, appearing directly 3 meters away from Goten. Looking at your appearance, you should also be an angel, right? Tell me, what do you want from me? It's best to give me a good enough excuse because your appearance has seriously affected my travel mood, Goten asked indifferently, looking at Murno with a warm smile. Although this guy didn't show any malice, and Goten couldn't feel any evil aura from him. The feeling of uneasiness he just had definitely had something to do with the guy in front of him. Who I am is not important. And my name is even less important. Your performance in the Tournament of Power was brilliant, and your name has spread throughout all the universes. So let me see the strength of a mortal who can surpass the level of a god of destruction and reach the level of an angel. Murno said, still wearing a warm smile. His ki was stable, pure, without the slightest hint of evil. Getting this skeptical. This guy shouldn't be a villain, right? If he were a villain, his body would at least have an evil ki, even if he was an angel. If this is what you want, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested right now, Goten replied, indifferently. Although he was eager to improve his strength, he wasn't interested in a meaningless battle. Besides, he had come out this time to travel with Videl, so he didn't want to fight. I'm really sorry, but this matter may not be up to you to decide. Whether you want it or not, this battle cannot be avoided today, Murno said, raising his mouth into a smile. His right hand stretched out like lightning, and a dimensional portal appeared in front of him. He grabbed VDL straight away. What now? Have I raised your interest in fighting? If you still choose not to fight, I will imprison her forever in a different dimension so that you will never find her. Murno's tone was still calm. Goten's eyes turned extremely cold. He hated it when someone threatened his loved ones. That's why he was slow to accept Videl. As his strength grew, his opponents would become stronger and more dangerous. This was the last thing he wanted to see, and absolutely intolerable. Ha! The next second, Goten roared suddenly. Berserk vibrant green gaseous flames shot out from his body in an instant. In a short while, he transformed into Super Saiyan 4. Grass green K-Aura flickered around his body, and his eyes were extremely cold. Belmode and Quaitela, who were not far away, were directly shocked and retreated more than 10 feet. Hey! It seems that the rumors about you were not wrong at all. This kind of power is indeed beyond the level of God of Destruction and has indeed reached the level of Angel. I have to say, you are very strong, and my blood is starting to boil. Murno said excitedly, still holding Videl. It should be exciting to fight such a powerful mortal. I don't care who you are, but what you did just now made me very angry. Even if you are an angel, if you do something like this today, don't expect to leave here alive, Goten said, his tone as cold as ice. Although he knew the guy in front of him was 90% likely to be an angel, threatening his loved ones was absolutely unforgivable. Even if killing an angel and gods of destruction might bring punishment from Zeno and the Grand Priest, at this moment, he couldn't control himself anymore. What a childish remark. Do you think you can defeat me with your strength? Don't compare me to those guys like Whis. Murno said, still smiling confidently. Even if this guy had what it took to beat Whis and Vitos, it was impossible for Goten to defeat him. As Murno finished speaking, Goten punched out of thin air. A portal appeared in front of him, and the next second, his fist hit Murno's face firmly. Goten took the opportunity to retrieve Videl. It's too dangerous here. Let me send you back to Earth first. Don't worry, I'll be fine, Goten said to the terrified Videl. A portal appeared beside him, sending Videl through. In the next second, the portal closed. If Videl stayed here, she would only become a target for threats, something Goten would never allow. Ho ho ho! It's unbelievable! A mere mortal, and you have mastered the ability of spatial manipulation. I have to say, your ability is beyond my imagination, Murno said, wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. His eyes became more excited. This was the super warrior he was looking for, the fight he was looking forward to. Goten did not disappoint him. Don't be surprised. My ability is stronger than you imagined, Goten said coldly. And I said none of you will leave here alive today. Despite the excitement on Murno's face, Goten's tone remained icy. Anyone who dared to threaten his loved ones would pay a heavy price. Even if this guy was a real angel, there would be no exception. Is that so? Murno replied. Then try it. After speaking, he glanced at Belmode and Chitru, expecting these guys to fight Goten. It was a joke. With their weak fighting power, Goten could kill them in an instant. That was part of his plan. The three gods of destruction were just his pawns. Hey, don't you three hate Goten from the 7th universe? Murno taunted. What are you waiting for? This is an excellent opportunity. If we work together, we can definitely kill him. The three gods of destruction had serious expressions. Although they hated Goten, facing him and his immense power made fear flood their hearts. However, seeing Murno rekindled their confidence, Although they certainly couldn't beat Goten alone, with Murno's help, the outcome was uncertain. After all, Murno was much stronger than other angels, as his spatial manipulation ability demonstrated. "Let's go together and get rid of this mortal bastard completely," Belmod said, gritting his teeth and driving out his fear. He looked at Quaitla and Rumshi. "No matter what, I must kill this arrogant mortal this time." Quaitla nodded firmly. He especially hated anyone associated with Beerus. The last time, at the Xeno Expo, Goten had humiliated them enough. "Ha!" Rumshi shouted firmly and rushed towards Goten. Seeing their enthusiasm, Murno smirked. Everything was going according to his plan, and it was going smoothly. Soon, these 3 chess pieces would lose their usefulness. That's when the real fun would begin. "Worthless fools! Do you think you're qualified to be my opponents just because you joined forces?" Goten snorted coldly. Then, his body flashed, and he rushed at them. He wasn't interested in Belmod, Ramshi, or Quaitla, the 3 gods. He needed to get rid of the angel-like guy first. The remaining 3 were nothing to fear. He could kill them in an instant. Meanwhile, in the God of Destruction realm of the 7th universe, Whis, who was training Goku and Vegeta, suddenly felt something. He looked up with a serious expression. "Big brother, this kid, it belongs to Big Brother Murno. What's going on?" And Goten's anger. What happened? Whis whispered to himself. The divine key, he felt, was very similar to Murno's. But Murno had disappeared when the 13th universe was destroyed millions of years ago. Why was he appearing now? And why was Goten's key raised to the extreme, coming from the same place? Could they have started a battle? What happened? Beerus, who was enjoying delicious food nearby, also felt Goten's anger and the key of other gods of destruction. "It's the divine key of 3 other gods of destruction," he muttered. "What's going on? Why did they come to the 7th universe? And it seems they're fighting Goten." Feeling everyone's key, Beerus groaned and sat up on the recliner, his eyes angry. Although he hadn't seen what happened, he guessed that the gods of destruction from other universes wanted to get rid of Goten, as his existence posed a great threat to them. More importantly, they were still alive because of Goten. "Whis, what's going on?" "I can feel the aura of other gods of destruction, and a very powerful divine aura. They seem to be fighting Goten," Beerus said as he walked up to Whis. I don't know, Lord Beerus, but it seems that the problem is serious. We have to go and have a look," Whis said solemnly. If the aura he felt was really Murno's, then this problem was indeed serious. At that moment, Goku and Vegeta, who were training, felt Goten's anger. They quickly ran to Beerus and Whis. "What happened?" they asked, but it seemed even Whis and Beerus didn't know. "Goku, don't you know? Instant transmission." "Then quickly take us there to see what happened. If gods of destruction from other universes are really troubling Goten, I will never let them go." Beerus said to Goku. In his heart, he already regarded Goten as a close friend. If the gods from other universes dared to come to the 7th universe to trouble Goten, that was tantamount to looking for trouble with him. He would never forgive those bastards. "Yes, Lord Beerus." Goku nodded quickly, then began to sense Goten's key. After capturing it, he used instant transmission, and several people disappeared from the God realm. When they appeared again, they were on the planet where Goten and the others were. At this moment, the planet was shaking violently. Although Goten was fighting 4 opponents, he was not at a disadvantage. Belmod and Quaitla couldn't do anything at all. Even their divine key of destruction had no effect on Goten. "Belmod, Quaitla, and Ramshi, you 3 bastards who don't know how to live or die dare to come to the 7th universe to make trouble. I will never let you go." Beerus growled, seeing Goten being attacked by 4 people. Purple flames erupted from his body as his ki surged to the extreme. The law the gods of destruction couldn't fight had long been forgotten. He had to help Goten and teach those ignorant fools a lesson. "Vegeta, let's go," Goku said as he transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and rushed towards Romshi. Although the opponent was a powerful god of destruction, Goku couldn't stand by and watch them bully his son. Damn it. Vegeta gritted his teeth, transforming into Super Saiyan Blue and joining the battlefield. "It's really Big Brother Murno. How is this possible? Why did he suddenly appear after disappearing for hundreds of millions of years? And what caused him to fight Goten?" Whis mumbled in disbelief. When Murno was the 11th universe angel, he liked mortals very much. He would try his best to preserve any mortal being in the multiverse, sometimes even interceding when Zeno and the Grand Priest wanted to erase a universe. Now, Whis couldn't understand why Murno would join forces with gods of destruction from other universes to deal with Goten. His ki hadn't turned evil. It was as if nothing had changed. Bang, bang! The battle lasted only a little over 10 seconds. Goku and Vegeta were sent flying and fell heavily to the ground, exiting their Super Saiyan Blue transformation. With their strength, even the weakest god of destruction was much stronger than them. They couldn't help at all. Beerus was on par with Quaitla of the 4th universe. Because their strengths were similar, there was no clear winner in a short time. Their fierce battle caused turmoil in the 7th universe, with some planets exploding. Goten felt it. He clearly sensed that more than a dozen planets in the northern galaxy had been destroyed, some of them near Earth. Damn it, I can't let the two of them fight any longer. If this continues, the entire 7th universe will be destroyed, Goten thought. He punched Murno away and appeared in front of Beerus, aiming his palm at Quaitla's forehead. Mortal, do you dare to kill me? I am the god of destruction. Try to kill me if you dare. Quite provoked recklessly. I said earlier, you will surely die. Die. Goten said as a powerful divine energy of destruction was released from his body. In the next second, Quaitla's body was instantly swallowed by the destructive energy. After provoking Goten, Quaitla didn't even get to say a single last word. He was directly obliterated by the powerful destructive energy, leaving nothing behind. There was a price to be paid for threats and provocations. This must be known to all of them today. Otherwise, such troubles would continue to come to him in the future. Everyone looked in shock and solemnity at the spot where Quaitla had been. He had been completely wiped out. Are you kidding? That mortal bastard actually killed Quaitla. He actually dared to kill a god of destruction. Impossible, it's absolutely impossible. Quaitla is a real god. How can a mere mortal have the courage to kill a god? At this moment, everyone stopped fighting. Balmud and Rumshi's expressions became very ugly. Horror, solemnity, and fear alternated constantly on their faces. The reason they dared to trouble Goten was that they believed he was just a mortal without a background. They also firmly believed that a mere mortal, no matter how powerful, would never dare to kill a god of destruction. But now, it seemed, they were completely wrong. This guy not only dared to kill a god of destruction, but also showed no mercy, instantly killed him without any remorse. In this case, the two of them were also in danger, because their strength was not greater than Quaitla's. This guy could kill them too. More importantly, this guy had no fear at all. There was no hesitation in killing a god. An expression of fear instantly emerged from their eyes, mixed with regret. Before, they always thought that Goten didn't dare to kill a god of destruction. That was why they acted so recklessly. They always wanted to teach Goten a good lesson and show him what it meant to humiliate a god of destruction. But now, this ending was completely different from what they imagined. Out of fear, the two immediately turned their attention to Murno. It seemed that Murno was their only hope of survival. However, after Murno saw that a god of destruction was killed, he didn't show the slightest expression of surprise on his face. He even seemed very excited. It was as if this was exactly what he wanted. What's going on? That guy's expression shows no intention of saving us at all. Why? Why is this happening? It was clearly agreed before that we would never get hurt with him. Balmud and Ramshi felt foolish. Even a fool could realize that they were duped by Murno. The guy who brought them to the 7th universe had no intention of helping them get revenge on Goten. It was more like a setup to push them to their deaths. But now, it seemed that everything was too late. Although they were gods of destruction, they didn't have the fastest speed in the universe, and they didn't have the Supreme Kai's instant movement technique. It was obviously impossible to leave this place, and Goten certainly wouldn't give them that chance. Oh no! Quaitla was actually killed. Seeing that Quaitla had completely disappeared, Beerus' face became serious in an instant. He lost his composure earlier, but he was fully aware now. A god of destruction was killed by a mortal. This was something Zeno and the Grand Priest would never allow. No matter how much they liked Goten, this matter had become very serious. Oh no! A god of destruction was killed! It seems the situation has become very bad. Even Whis frowned. As an angel, he knew exactly what would happen if a god of destruction were killed. If he was killed by another god, perhaps Zeno and the Grand Priest would not care as much. And as long as it didn't get discovered, it was fine. But a mortal killing a god obviously challenged the authority of the gods. This was something Zeno and the Grand Priest would never tolerate. And because of Murno's appearance, this matter had become even worse. Even if Zeno and the Grand Priest couldn't find out that the fourth universe god of destruction was killed immediately, they could definitely find out about Murno showing up. When they tracked down what happened, things would be discovered. And Goten would definitely be punished extremely severely. Whis then looked up at Murno. He saw a satisfied smile on his face. It seemed that this entire situation was orchestrated by him. Whis felt that he didn't know his favorite big brother anymore. Murno used to like mortals so much. But now, why had he changed so much? Letting Goten kill the god of destruction of the fourth universe. Didn't he know that this would result in disastrous consequences for the mortals? Big Brother Murno, what is your purpose in doing this? Do you know that your actions just now not only resulted in the death of a god of destruction, but will also get Goten severely punished, and possible repercussions for the Universe 7? Haven't you always liked mortals very much? Why do this now? Seeing Murno with a happy smile on his face, Whis immediately asked loudly, "Whis, whatever. I naturally have my plan. It looks like hundreds of millions of years have passed, but you still haven't changed at all." Murno still had a warm smile on his face as he spoke to Whis. To Murno, it seemed that his younger brother was still as naive as ever, just like their father, the Grand Priest. The Grand Priest always liked to protect Zeno, always liked to cater to his every need, but such an approach would not help these powerless mortals at all, because whenever Zeno wanted to destroy a universe, it was purely on a whim. A good mood or a bad mood might cause hundreds of millions of beings in a universe to be wiped out. In Murno's opinion, the Grand Priest and all the angels had become accomplices. If this selfish system was not broken, mortals would never be treated fairly. In the eyes of God, mortals would always be like bugs. Poor mortals. They are always so small and cannot protect themselves. He liked mortals, so he hated the current system. But, Big Brother, what you're doing now has seriously violated angels' rules. If this continues, you will be destroyed by Father and Zeno. Whis said in a very serious tone. He had finally seen Murno again. Since childhood, he had liked his big brother the most. He didn't expect that, after meeting again, it would be like this. He seemed to be on the opposite side of all angels, and it seemed that he didn't like mortals as much as before. Could it be that these billions of years of disappearance had caused such a huge change in him? "No, they can't kill me now," Murno said confidently. But Goten on the side didn't want to hear their babbling anymore. Hearing Whis say his name, it seemed that the guy in front of him was indeed an angel and older than Whis, but Goten had already said it before. This guy dared to threaten him with vital, and he would never tolerate such things. No matter what, Murno would have to pay a painful price today. Whoosh! After dealing with Quaitla, Goten's body slammed into Murno again, then he punched heavily. Murno instantly cast a portal. Goten's fist flew away, and Murno's body had already appeared in an empty place. Goten, I admit that you are stronger than I thought, and you have successfully aroused my desire to fight. Next, I will use all my strength to fight with you, and I hope you will not let me down, Murno said, still with a look of excitement on his face. Looking at Goten, there was a bit of appreciation, but soon his expression became serious. The moment he punched out, more than a dozen portals appeared in front of him. Then countless bodies of Murno appeared. Moreover, the strength of each Murno was completely indistinguishable from that of the main body. What kind of ability is this? The strength of each avatar is exactly the same as the main body. When did angels have this ability? Beerus looked at the dozen or so Murnos in amazement and frowned tightly. The Murno in front of him was estimated to be able to defeat him in an instant, and now there were more than a dozen of them at once. It was estimated that even Goten had no way to deal with it. Okay, that's amazing. Is this an angel's ability? A dozen clones were created in an instant. This ability seems similar to Tien Shinhan's multi-form technique, Goku said in surprise, looking at the dozen or so Murnos in front of him. In fact, Tien Shinhan had mastered this ability before. It's just that Tien Shinhan could only create 4 clones, and after creating the clones, their power was completely inferior to the main body. Moreover, the physical energy of the main body would also be greatly consumed. Stop kidding, Kakarot. This ability is completely different from the multi-form technique. Don't you feel that the strength of each clone of this guy is exactly the same as the main body? It looks like Goten is going to be in a bit of danger, Vegeta immediately said to Goku. Teen Shinhan's ability was completely incomparable to the Murno in front of them. This guy created a dozen clones at once. Moreover, the strength of each clone was exactly the same as the main body. Goten seemed to be in danger. Can you only play tricks like this? Don't think you can defeat me like this. It's still far away. Goten sneered immediately. Although all the avatars and the body strength of Murno were similar, Goten could also do it, especially after mastering the abilities of Janemba and Majin Buu. Such a trick was easy for him. The moment Goten's voice fell, more than a dozen portals appeared around his body. Immediately afterwards, one Goten after another emerged from the portals. The strength of each Goten was almost the same. What? Goten, can he actually have this ability? And the strength has not diminished in the slightest. What the hell is going on here? Why didn't I see him display it during the Tournament of Power? Vegeta felt his worldview collapse upon seeing a dozen Super Saiyan 4 Goten. It was fine for angels to have such abilities. After all, angels were unimaginable existences. But now even Goten had this ability, which shocked him greatly, because Goten was just a Saiyan. And as far as he was concerned, Saiyans didn't have such strange abilities. How many abilities does Goten have? Goku murmured to himself in confusion as he looked at Goten. He felt that he couldn't understand his son at all. It was as if they existed in entirely different dimensions. While everyone was amazed, the dozen Murnos and the dozen Gotens engaged in a pitched battle. One portal after another opened continuously in the sky. Rumble. Accompanied by fierce battles, the entire planet began to fall apart instantly. The surrounding planets were also affected and began to be destroyed continuously. Shockwaves of terror spread through the universe, making it seem like the entire universe could disappear at any moment. In just 10 seconds, hundreds of planets had been destroyed by the shockwaves generated by the explosions. Damn, if these two guys keep fighting, the 7th universe will be destroyed sooner or later. But with my current strength, I can't stop them at all. Beerus clenched his fists. Since becoming the 7th universe god of destruction, it was the first time he felt so helpless. He couldn't even protect his own universe or Goten. This feeling of helplessness made him very angry. Boom. At this moment, Goten punched out straight through the chest of a Murno clone. The moment the chest was pierced, Murno disappeared. Goten then noticed that after killing the first Murno, a small petal appeared on the back of Murno's hand. He had spotted the petal on Murno's hand before, but with the clone being killed just now, the small petal on the back of Murno's hand turned into 2 pieces. Whoosh, whoosh! Rumble. The entire universe was still in violent turmoil. The battle was becoming more and more intense. Accompanied by the continuous increase in combat time, a dozen Murnos and Goten clones had disappeared. On the back of Murno's hand, more than a dozen petals had appeared, forming a sunflower-like flower. Only now the petals took up half of the flower. Goten could also feel that the strength of Murno's body was constantly increasing. The battle continued for another 3 or 4 minutes. All parts of Goten and Murno clones had completely disappeared. At this time, the small flower pattern on the back of Murno's hand was only 3 leaves away from being fully formed. Goten, what an exciting battle. I never thought that one day I would be able to have such a carefree battle with a mortal. You make me admire you from the bottom of my heart. Even the 4 fighters of our 13th universe were not even 1% as good as you, Murno said sincerely, appreciating the battle. It seemed that choosing Goten as the protagonist this time was the most correct choice. Stop talking nonsense to me, Goten roared angrily. He punched Murno again. The moment countless portals opened in front of him, dozens of fists blasted at Murno simultaneously. Murno followed suit and made the same attack. At this time in the Temple of Zeno, just a few seconds ago, Angel Cognac of the 4th universe suddenly lost all his angel abilities. Everyone in the Temple of Zeno was aware of the reason. The god of destruction bound to the universe had died, so the angel lost all his abilities. Grand Priest frowned. On the other hand, Angel's Margarita and Kusu's faces were even uglier. The reason they appeared in the Temple of Zeno was that Murno had taken away their god of destruction just now. So they hurriedly reported the matter to the Grand Priest. Unexpectedly, at this time, Quaihtala of the fourth universe had already been killed. Murno, you've gone too far this time.